Welcome. I am Erelu Ayoride, but Erelu Tunwashe of Odiremo. The two must not be mixed together. Welcome to my program. It's another day, another episode of Agbakuni Tonile Dua Akodashe, Ashedashe, Igumere Aye, Awadupelo Liberty Media Communications, Mr. Frambelo, thank you for joining us again. It's a prayer, and it simply means the elders never cease to exist in our land, the land of Oduduwa. Let me welcome those of you who have joined me in the Zoom area. My Zoom area is always for selected few. And if you've just joined me for the first time, at some point I will be inviting your comments. Of course, once my guest speakers have tabled evidence for the matter. Evidence? Yes, my program operates almost like a court, if not a court. My guest speakers are here to provide adequate evidence to support the topic for today. And why are we trying to do this? Thank you, Mr. Bello. This is a bold attempt to facilitate a change in behavior. Many of us have been members of many organizations dating back to 1978, and I'm sure perhaps other people earlier. For a moment, I'm going to mute everybody because there's somebody here who, just a moment, I'm going to mute everybody. Good, okay. Right, many of us have been members of one organization or another. And that's why I have invited all of you to come and turn your wounds to wisdom. Let's hope that as we journey into another aspect of the life of the descendants of Oduduwa, we will begin to think about our behavior, the impact on people and where it's taking us. And many of us talk about collaboration. We talk about working together. I run away fast from the word unity. I do. So welcome. Let me explain that this particular session will be in two parts. We are continuing a theme which was started on the 3rd of January, collaboration for Yoruba freedom. Collaboration for Yoruba freedom. Ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ fún òmìnira ilẹ̀ Oòduà. We have spent considerable time looking at a variety of ways by which the desired freedom may become a reality. So today I've got two teams. A very warm welcome to Bashigun Alabe, an orthopedic consultant, also a writer, and somebody who has written a book on ancient laws, incidentally with a legal background, based in Leicester, United Kingdom. A very warm welcome to you. I've also got with me today a team led by Alagba Femi Odedeyi, and this team, their life dates back to, I would say, well before 2002. They represent a variety of organizations, old organizations, ancient organizations, including Alajobi. They've interacted with the legacy of the legacy left by our founding father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the wonderful to some, maybe not so wonderful, but many of us are delighted that Chief Obafemi Awolowo left an organization that is 72 years old now. So today we are gathered to learn from representatives of those organizations what we want to learn from them, the experiences of working together, collaboration. I don't want to hear the word unity because I don't believe we've ever got near that. But so we're here to listen to three great speakers from Yoruba referendum and draft Constitution 2002 for future Yoruba nation. So let me go to part one. I know that the keynote guest speaker on a subject called opinion polls. As I said, we are all trying to explore the most effective, the strategic way to get to what many people say they want. Freedom, òmìnira, fòmìnira. In a little while, I will bring my first keynote speaker to you. He will introduce himself. I've just done a little bit of introduction, and I'm going to give him between 20 to 30 minutes. Let me explain that part one will have to end before I go to part two, because the two, although have been linked together, they are totally different. And my first keynote guest speaker, Dr. Sholawuli, is a very busy man. He will need to leave us as soon as his particular slot is over. So let me again welcome all of you who have joined me from London, from the United States, from Mauritania. Thank you, Mauritania. You're always here. From Italy, from Rome, and of course, Nigeria. I dare not forget you. So let me go straight on to my first speaker. The topic today, opinion polls. Dr. Oni, over to you. Please introduce yourself, and you have up to 20 minutes. If you need more, of course, I will allow you to do so. Over to you.
Thank you.
By the way, can I just stop you? Something important. Somebody just reminded me before you go on. I've got another important person I need to introduce before you. He's coming with a key message for all of us, opening remarks. Let me see if he's already with us. His name is, everybody calls him Moscow, but I believe his name is Muyiwa Oladipo. Oladipo. Let me see if he's here with us. Mr. Oladipo, are you with us? Are you with us?
Yes, ma.
Hello. Hello, Moscow, are you with us?
Yes, ma. I am with you, ma.
Thank you.
Yes,
over to you. You have 10 minutes before I bring in Dr. Oni.
Yes, ma. I would like to mix my Oyinbo mi àti Yoruba. Yoruba gan lóhùn mi láti máa, but tó bá ti difficult, màá rọra lo Oyinbo ń bẹ̀ so that for people to know. Ẹ ṣé, orúkọ mi ni Ìdòwú Olúmúyìwá, ọmọ bíbí Ẹ̀gbá ni mí, ọmọ Lísàbí Agbòǹgbò Àkàlà, ọmọ Bégúnjẹ Kẹ́rù Gbẹ̀dìyẹ, ọmọ Gbàjọ Fọwọ́ Tìnlá. According to our main topic today is the collaboration. Ní go into it láì jẹ́ wípé àti ẹ̀rọra wa létí what it meant and the importance of it, the advantage and hello.
Hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute. I think some people are trying to. Thank you. Over to you again.
Okay, so sorry for that, man. Let me go back again. My name is Muyiwa and popularly known as Moscow. Akole, or the topic of today in Kutatoria was based on collaboration. But we cannot go into it láì ṣe wípé àrọ́ra wa létí what is it, báwo làwọn bàbá wa ṣe lò, kí láǹfààní ẹ̀, kí ni disadvantage ẹ̀ tá a bá lò àti wípé why tó tiẹ̀ fi jẹ́ pé lásìkò yìí a ní ìdẹ̀ lọ́pọ̀. Kí n kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti general meaning of this collaboration word. It could be seen by anybody as, okay, an action of working with someone to produce something. However, Cambridge Dictionary defines it as the situation of two or more people working together to create or achieve something. So that means èèyàn bíi méjì àbí bíi mẹ́ta àkọ́kọ́ ẹni o lè wọ single-handedly o lè join collaborate with any other person. But that one did a justice into it because he said 2 or more. And however, èèyàn tún lè join organization náà. So, but àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ wo la tún lè lò? We can easily say, okay, as a corporation, a tún lè ní alliance, a lè ní partnership, a tún lè ní combination. So in similar words like that, but kí ni Yorùbá wá pè àwọn èèyàn, àwọn baba ńlá baba wọn ní ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀. Yorùbá ní ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀. That means, how do I break it down now? 1 or 2 or 3 people wọ́n fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ láti lè ṣe àṣeyọrí, láti jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ kan jáde àbí àṣeyọrí nǹkan. A tún lè sọ wípé ṣíṣe iṣẹ́, a tún lè ní iṣẹ́ àjùmọ̀ṣe, a tún lè ní ìbáṣepọ̀ ká bára ẹni ṣiṣẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n bí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe wà, ó ní àwọn characteristics títí tiẹ̀, which means wípé tá a bá sọ wípé à ń collaborate, àwọn nǹkan kan wà ńbẹ̀ tó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ characteristics of it, which means a gbọ́dọ̀ máa fi ohùn ṣọ̀kan. We speak with one voice. We have the same objective. We have a clear roadmap. We have a teamwork and division of labor as well. Without tí kanú ẹ̀ bá sọnù, á jẹ́ wípé collaboration tá à ń ṣe yẹn ó ti ń di abirùn àbí nǹkan kan tí ń ṣe. These are one of the things. Kí làwọn àǹfààní ẹ̀ pàápàá? Tá a bá ní collaboration, ó máa jẹ́ ká tètè rí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe yẹn ṣe. Ó máa tún jẹ́ kí ìfẹ́ pọ̀ láàárín ara wa púpọ̀. Ó dẹ̀ máa yọ èmi ni mo ṣe báyìí, self glorification àbí èmi ni mo tó báyìí, ó máa yọ kúrò, which is why iṣẹ́ tá a dẹ̀ nílẹ̀ láti jà fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, iṣẹ́ ènìyàn kan kọ́, iṣẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ kan kọ́, iṣẹ́ gbogbo wa ni. And this is one of the reasons why tá a fi ń lọ pé àwọn tí ó ti ní experience àtàwọn tó tún ti àwọn guest speaker wa ṣe ń bọ̀ àtàwọn oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà ní gbogbo wa fi papọ̀ pé okay, ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ wá lógún, and láti tiẹ̀ dá dúró, ó ti yẹ ká dá dúró now. Ó yẹ ká tún Nàìjíríà, wọ́n fipá so wá papọ̀ ni now, ó yẹ ká dẹ̀ tú tí apá ò bá ṣe tó ò bá ṣe kinní kan èèyàn á ka lórí. Ẹ má bínú, mi ò mọ òwe yẹn, ó rú mi lójú ńbẹ̀ yẹn ni mà. But these are things that we are looking at. Lórí àti ní ohun kan papọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí Yorùbá ní ìgbà ti June 12. Ní ìgbà tá a dìbò àti ìgbà tán tún àná-lẹ̀ náà, Yorùbá fohùn ṣọ̀kan la fi rí bàbá Ọbásanjọ́ fi tù wá nínú pé ó kẹ́ jẹ́ kí Yorùbá gbà. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n tiẹ̀ má lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn yìí tó jìn. 0 party election gbà yẹn náà, the same thing náà, tí Yorùbá ní pé no àṣeṣẹ́ a tún rí unity Yorùbá. Ẹ jẹ́ máa lọ sọ́nà jíjìn, ẹ jẹ́ ká wo EndSARS tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ tán yìí. There was a collaboration because there are things that are happening concurrently. Bọ́n ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Lekki, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà làwọn ti Yànàpájà ń ṣe títí tiwọn. It later boiled down to state by state, and that is the effectiveness. Nǹkan tó jẹ́ kí kinní yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ was that collaboration. Ẹ wò ó dàbí ẹni pé mo ti ń gba àkókò, but why do we need it now? Ẹ rí i wípé láàárín àwọn bàbá wa gan ẹnu kò, láàárín àwọn politicians wa kò, láàárín àwọn oníjàǹgbara kò. So ó wá di dandan, ìdí tí Oòduà fi gbérú màmá wa dìde ni pé you just have to stand up and start doing something so that everybody àwa collaborate. Tó ní jàǹgbara bá ń sọ̀rọ̀, a mọ ohun kan náà, ohun tí politicians sọ.
You may unmute yourself, Alàgbà Múyìwá Ọlájípọ̀. Can you hear me? Please unmute just yourself. Ẹ ṣé. Hello, are you there? Let me see if I can help you here. Let's see. Thank you. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Because I had to mute everyone because someone came in with noise. Over to you. Débi wípé ǹjẹ́ tí ń sọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ jù ẹ tẹ̀síwájú láti bẹ̀yẹn.
Ibi tí a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ jù kò yé mi mà.
Ẹ̀yin tẹ̀síwájú ibi tẹ́mi bá ti ní kẹ́tì máa sọ. It's okay.
So we now find out that there is so much division within all àwọn èèyàn wa gangan, even within the political system. Àfohùn ṣọ̀kan mọ́, ẹgbẹ́ ń pín sí méjì láàárín àwọn oníjàǹgbara. The same thing is happening láàárín àwọn ọmọléèwé náà sì ń pín sí igba, and within even the churches are dividing against themselves. So ó dá wa lójú pé bí mi fẹ́ lo ọ̀rọ̀ Bible, but ẹ jẹ́ ń lò náà, wọ́n ní a house that divide against itself shall not stand. So gbogbo àwọn kinní wọ̀nyí náà à ń láti dìde láti wá wò pé okay, let us harmonize, and that is why somebody like me appreciate the work that you are doing, is bringing everybody together so that we can now harmonize and collaborate, then we now get to where we are. Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè àdèmàdé ilẹ̀ ìlérí tí a ti ń pariwo látijọ́ yìí. Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Thank you ma very much. Ẹ kú ẹ máa bá ìpàdé lọ. Thank you very much ma.
Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. If you've just joined us, Collaboration for Yoruba Freedom. Àwọn alàgbà wa tó ń ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń, the gentleman who has just finished, he's been a member of a variety of organizations, including OPC, the famous OPC. And during the struggle over actualization of June 12th, he had a significant role to play. The Nadekos of this world who fought hard in order to return us back to democracy. I won't say too much about him other than that, only to say, ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀, àná ni mo sọ fún yín, ẹ dìde, ẹ wá bá wa dá sí, àjọṣe wa kò ní bàjẹ́. Let me now go straight back to the keynote guest speaker on the subject matter, opinion polls. Over to you. Please introduce yourself, and you have between 20 to 30 minutes to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Shola Oni. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I am also the Bashegun Alabe of Ijebu-Jesha, which makes me an Oshomalo. I am a graduate of the University of Ibadan. I graduated in '73, and I've been in the UK since 1974. I have not only degrees in medicine, I also have degrees in law. I usually do not like to introduce my CV because I believe that as soon as people think that you are learned, they start believing what you are telling them rather than being critical of what you're saying. So my introducing myself, the idea is not for you to be uncritical about what I say, but just to listen to me. I think I should start really by thanking Erelu for this second invitation. Obviously, you must have been pleased with whatever it is I said the last time to have invited me a second time. I also would like to thank Erelu for setting up what I call a brainstorming platform. I see this platform as allowing us to put forward ideas, no matter how outrageous it might be, which then allows us to discuss whatever it is that the idea is and do some thinking about what the idea is. Now, on the question of self-determination for the Yoruba, there are two opposing reactions that I have seen online. The first reaction is that the Fulani will not let you have self-determination because we Yoruba sold ourselves to the Fulani. Our governors behave as if they are Fulani slaves. The Fulani will shut us up with Tinubu in 2023. The second reaction that I have seen on Twitter is that the Yoruba people are actually not interested in your Oduduwa Republic. The Yoruba people are apathetic. They accept Nigeria as their fate. They believe that the prayer will give them the solution, and that by and large, Oduduwa Republic is a project of the Yoruba elites rather than the Yoruba people themselves. And this is what brings me to the question of, or to the matter of opinion poll that I briefly posed last week when I was talking on this platform. I wasn't able to develop what I was trying to say at that time, and I'm grateful that I now have the opportunity of saying something. Now, the opinion poll or opinion polls or whatever it is, it's an accepted way of finding out what the Yorubas are thinking. A lot of people in other platforms that I've listened to have suggested various things to, if you like, activate the Yoruba base. And a variety of things have been suggested. But this is totally different from opinion polls. And I have, in my research, I have looked at one publication which I think very, very interesting. It's by the UK House of Lords. What they say is that actually opinion poll has no universal definition. All it is a data collection exercise, and it is intended to provide a snapshot of opinion. They say it is a useful and fruitful way of listening, and it can be used to draw attention to a particular matter. So opinion polls allows you to listen to what the population is saying. It also allows you to draw attention to whatever it is you wish to draw attention to. And I think we all know that this can be done in a variety of ways. You can do it in a face-to-face interview. You simply give people clipboards, they go around, they talk to people and record this, whatever it is. You can do it by telephone, excuse me. You can do it by email, and you can do it on the internet. Now, there are different types of opinion polls, and I'm really just going to go through them pretty quickly until I get to the one that interests me out of the lot. There is what is called a benchmark poll. That is, it's the first poll that you do to find out how much support you are going to get. So that's a benchmark poll. Then there's a brush fire poll, which you use to monitor the progress of whatever campaign you have. And that's a tracking poll, which allows you bit by bit, time by time, to know how much support you are getting. And the politicians or the political parties, if you like, use opinion polls to find out what is the voting intention, what are the policy issues, and then there are private polls by people who are rich enough who want to find out whatever it is they want to find out. There are social surveys, and the one that interests me really is the informal poll. That is the sort of opinion poll that is not conducted with what you would call robust sampling technique. In my view, there's absolutely nothing wrong with informal poll. I will come back to it later on, especially when you come to an ethnic group like the Yorubas, where we are homogeneous, we speak the same language, we have the same custom, the same tradition, the same everything. So in effect, to some extent, you expect that we will think alike. And the example that I normally use here is this, that if you want to take the temperature of a room, you put your thermometer in one spot. You don't go around the room and say, oh, the temperature is this here, the temperature is this here, and then you add it all up and find an average. No, you take the temperature wherever you're sitting or wherever you're standing, and that, as far as reasonably concerned, because the room is homogeneous, you expect the temperature to be the same relatively all around. Now, opinion polls have a bad press, and they have a bad press because in the past, they've been trying to predict the outcome of elections. You know, for example, in the UK, I think the election of 2015 and the one of 2017, and then the Brexit referendum. And then people talk about the 2016 election in the States. Now, the difference between what we are trying to do and elections is that I describe elections as a beauty contest. You are just being asked to pick the most beautiful. You don't know what's in the head of this beauty. You don't know, and you really don't know very much about who this beauty is, but they are just simply asking you, pick one of these two or one of these three political parties. And to some extent, you just pick any you like. Now, the sort of opinion poll that I'm talking about, which I said is an informal poll, what people talk at, why they say you get things wrong is, to me, a lot of, I'm trying to pick my word here, purists, if you like. They talk about sampling errors. They talk about non-responders, that these people who refuse to say yay or nay, you actually don't know what they're thinking. And they may skew the result. And then there are people who will be lying to you. They try and guess what it is that you want them to say, and then they say it. And then there's also the question of, if you give leading questions, then you can almost predict what your answer is going to be. And from the House of Lords publication, I drew 5 questions, which you must consider if you are proposing to commission a polling. The first question is, will it tell us anything new? Well, I mean, from our point of view, what we're interested in finding out is, do the people support Yoruba independence? So that's fairly straightforward. Then the next question they ask is, what if the result contradicts the presumption? That is, you already assume that people will join you in independence for Yoruba land. Suppose they say no, what are you going to do? All that we can say is that for us, there have been in Nigeria, there have been 3 referenda, for example, in which people have decisively, for example, agreed to, from Cameroons to be part of Nigeria, or from Eastern Nigeria to be part of Cameroons, or the Midwest deciding that they want to go it alone. So from our point of view, the likelihood that a Yoruba man will say, I don't want Ominira, is unlikely. The third question that they share is that you need to look for factors that might skew the results one way or the other. And this is where referenda, I will come to referendums in a minute. This is where there's a problem, because at the end of the day, it is almost like an election as well, where you have a number of beauties, you put it forward and you say, pick one. The fourth question is, how useful is a one-off snapshot poll on the subject? How useful is it to just simply ask once do you want independence for Yoruba land? And then, of course, the fifth question that they ask is, how appropriate is the subject matter? I mean, from our own point of view, it is absolutely appropriate. Those of us who are Yoruba nationalists, and I need to be absolutely clear about what is meant by Yoruba nationalists. We are not Yoruba supremacists. That is, we are not saying we are better than anybody else. No. And we are not saying that we hate somebody else. No. All we are saying, we just want to be on our own. Before 1914, we had an empire which we ran successfully before the white men came. We were Yoruba people before we were Nigerians. And all we are asking is we want to go back to what we were before. Now, earlier I talked briefly about referendum, and the question that I've been asked elsewhere is why opinion poll are not referendum? Well, the two are different. An opinion poll attempts to measure opinion of a population by questioning a representative sample. All you are doing is you take a sample, you find what they think, and then you extrapolate it to the whole population. Whereas referendum seeks to elicit the answer from the entire population. What are the disadvantages of referendum? Again, I'm not saying this to be against anyone or to be for anyone or to be against one method for any method. All I'm trying to do, because as I said, this is a brainstorming platform, is really to bring matters, ideas forward for debate, for anybody to challenge. Referendum has a number of disadvantages. The first one is that you have to have a campaign which lasts days and weeks. Then you have to remember that a lot of these referenda are agendas of political parties. And what I say here is that political parties come and go, but nationalities do not change. So it doesn't matter which political party you talk about, they can come, they can go. I mean, I don't know how many political parties have been in Nigeria since 1960, but the fact that we are Yoruba hasn't changed. The next problem or disadvantage of the referendum is that outcome may depend on the spending power of the parties. So if you have one party who believes in something, they have more money than another one, then the party with the more money and the more organization and the more whatever it is likely to succeed. Then, of course, there's the bias of the press and the media. I mean, if the press and the media, for example, are against what you are trying to do, then they are able to nullify it. Then there's what I call the bandwagon effect. That is, for example, if I go home to Ijebu-Desha now and I say, I want you because I'm beloved by the people, and so on, and I say, I want you to do to vote for the referendum in this direction. Although some people actually don't think that what I'm saying is to their advantage or whatever, they will still think, well, here is our boy, here is our man, here is our son. He says go in this direction, so we all go in that direction. That's the bandwagon effect. And then there is the question of organized or charismatic leadership, which always attract following. I think I've said this before, I'm not sure, that there's a saying, I'm not quite sure whether it's Yoruba or wherever it's from, that the man who holds the cassava, again in his hand, attracts the goats. So if you have a charismatic leader or an organized leadership, they are bound to attract more people. And the sad aspect of that is that, of course, opinion is changeable. So you can have a leader today that says, let's do X, and tomorrow he changes his mind and say, let's do Y. What are the advantages of opinion poll? There are actually two advantages. One is that people already know what they want. I mean, the idea that you need to change minds and so on and so forth, already the Yoruba people where they are now, they know what they want. Although they haven't had the chance to articulate it, to tell people, whatever it is, they know what they want. If you go on the streets of Ibadan or anywhere and you say, Ominira for Yoruba land, almost everybody will say, yes, that's what we need to get out of this mess. And the other thing is that for us, this is the advantage of an opinion poll, is that for us and for most people, the status quo is not acceptable. I mean, they are not, not everybody marches on the street or carries a gun, but everybody knows there's no Yoruba man that you will ask today who will say, I love the way things are in Nigeria. So they already know what they don't want, and they already have some idea of what they want. So that when you propose to them that, look, Ominira is just like they did for the Midwesterners, that independence is an alternative, and everybody thinks, okay, we speak the same language, we have the same tradition, we have the same custom. It is bound to be better than staying in Nigeria. The other thing that I need to say briefly about the idea of referendum, which is about the idea of election as well, is how poor the turnout can be. In fact, I was surprised when I was reading or researching this topic to find that Buhari only had 15 million votes to be president, when there are over 150 million people who are eligible to vote. So we have a president who most Nigerians didn't even vote for. So you can see the problem that elections bring. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are now asking me, what are you going to suggest? And I will make my suggestion now. And then please, don't be afraid to shoot me down if you disagree. My proposal is straightforward. We've got 8 Yoruba states. We survey 500 people per state. That's about 4,000 people. And all we record is age, sex, and the state from where this is done. And I say this because, as I said earlier, the Yoruba people are homogeneous people. We're all the same. There's no big difference between us. And most Yoruba people are politically aware, and they're suffering from the same injustice. So you don't need a large number of people in order to get an opinion of what they are thinking. For my proposal, I will ask a leading and simple question. And the question is this: do you support independence for Yoruba land? Yes or no? And if I try to translate it, it will be, ṣé o faramọ́ òmìnira fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá? Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. And that's it. Now, there is going to be a lot of objections to what I've to the number of people are proposed, and so on and so forth. Who are the people who are going to object? There will be purists, and I can tell you, I mean, my younger brother, who is an engineer and a scientist, the first thing he said to me was, what about demographics? What about locations? What about this? What about that? And the point that I was making is this: what does it matter if we don't follow the pure scientific route? What does it matter? And do you know why it doesn't matter? And I'll tell you. The first thing is that when you publish the opinion poll, it will get people talking. They weren't talking about it before, but once you've done the poll and you put the result out, there'll be a debate. There'll be people saying, this is scientifically wrong or whatever. For the first time, there will be a debate by people who like it and people who don't like it. newspapers will make comments on it and say, these people are talking rubbish, blah, blah, blah. On the radio and TV, they will discuss it. So a subject that that has been missing before, no matter how badly people, the purists, think you've done it, is going to attract attention. And I give you an example.
Time to.
I'll be finishing in a minute. On Twitter, there's a group called Oduduwa Republic. They've put on a poll. In fact, I sent them a tweet today asking them to publish it so that we can all know. Okay, they have published an opinion poll, and at the last time I looked at it, they had 1,210 votes, and 93.3% of that vote was for Yoruba independence. Finally, what I will say is this: that those who object to what I've just the simple, straightforward polling that I've just suggested, they would have to prove that what we have done is wrong. You know, in law, they say he who asserts must prove. So anybody who is going to say that the result of our polling is not good enough, they have to prove that it isn't. And which means they'll have to either set up their own polling or do their own referendum. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Uni Shigwalabe Ofijebutosha. That was illuminating and, of course, fascinating. Sitting here as somebody who spent many, many years knocking doors, we used to have something called citizen survey to establish what we imagine people want even before we write our election manifesto. Now, thank you for that. I'm going to invite comments, brief comments, so that I can set you free to have your freedom. A great pity you won't be able to listen to the referendum committee. Those who have spent so many years working on Yoruba referendum. So, but let me invite comments. Let me go straight on to Alagba Femi Odedeyi, because he is actually the coordinator of the Yoruba referendum committee. Over to you. Any comments on what you've heard? Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Femi Odedeyi. Yes.
Ẹ káàsán, ẹ kúrọ̀lẹ́ mà. Ẹ dẹ̀ ṣé for this opportunity. Yes, I have some comments on his proposal. And like he said, this is not to shoot him down, it's just to raise issues. The first one is that when he said that there is already a sort of consensus. Ipe kò sẹ́ni Yorùbá tẹ́ máa bi tí wọ́n mọ̀ ìpọ̀rọ̀ opinion, ìpọ̀rọ̀ independence wà àti gbogbo ẹ̀ so táwọn bá ṣe opinion poll yẹn. At the same time, now saying that táwọn bá fẹ́ ṣe opinion poll, a tún raise debate. Èmi ò rò pé debate kankan máa wà ní nǹkan táwọn èèyàn ti mọ̀ pé àwọn fẹ́ ṣe, kò ní debate tí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn bá ti wà nílẹ̀. Ìyẹn number one. Number two, tá bá ṣe opinion poll, ta ní no matter whatever number, àwọn tí ò fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀, tí wọn ò fẹ́ òmìnira fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá or self-determination fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá, wọ́n wà nínú Yorùbá land gan fúnra ara wọn. Àwọn náà lè ṣe opinion poll tiwọn. Tán bá dẹ̀ ṣe opinion poll tiwọn, tó bá yàtọ̀ sí result tí ìyẹn ò gbé wa débì kankan. Number three, ìtàn sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ agenda is an agenda for political parties. No, a referendum is not an agenda for any political party. A political party may take it up as a necessity for solution problem tó ní, but it's not the political party that will say irú UK tẹwà yẹn nísìnyí kì í ṣe pé SNP bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé àwọn fẹ́ òmìnira fún ilẹ̀ wọn irú pátì bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn wà ń bẹ̀ but nǹkan tí ó dẹ̀ ń ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú gbogbo examples tán give ni pé referendum ó put a political authority on what the people want because the question is political. Actually, it's a political question. Tẹ́bà Benin Midwest wọ́n sọ ń jọ yẹn wọ́n sọ yẹn wọ́n ṣe referendum ń bẹ̀ or plebiscite láti make sure pé àwọn ní political authority yẹn fi ṣe nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ ṣe kì í ṣe pé wọ́n kàn gba opinion poll wọn nìkan but wọ́n láti fún ní legitimacy by saying, okay, this is what the people want. And that is essentially what a referendum is. Whether in a borough...
I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
Shay, thank you. Let me invite more comments from others. Somebody, M. Idowu, seems to have raised hand. Over to you. Introduce yourself, please.
I am Moscow Idowu.
Okay.
I quite appreciate the speaker, mo gbádùn yín gan. About clear observation tí mo kàn níbẹ̀ ni pé despite the fact pé mi gan náà mo ń sọ òyìnbó inú mi ìbádùn tá a bá ń gbọ́ àwọn Yorùbá yẹn tá à ń mix ẹ̀ bí Mr. Dede ṣe gbé jáde yẹn because ìpàdé Yorùbá là ń ṣe. Agbọ́dọ̀ máa it will be better off pé ká ṣáà máa fi Yorùbá sí gbogbo ẹ̀ kó kàn má jẹ́ pé gbogbo ẹ̀ ni ó máa jẹ́ òyìnbó because why communication yẹn ó matter gan. Àwọn òyìnbó mi wà ọ̀rọ̀ mi wà jẹ́ pé tá a bá sọ Yorùbá ó máa yé èèyàn dáadáa ju òyìnbó ẹ̀ lọ. Where am I going on the referendum, sir? Very, very good, but benchmarking kini method yẹn lèmi fẹ́ suggest and why. Tẹ́ bá padà lọ ẹni it's going to be based on yes or no. Ẹ má wá tún gbàgbé pé àwọn kan náà máa tẹ̀ sọ pé I don't care èyí tá bá ṣe gangan. So we are taking those one out of it. So looking at the benchmarking method at any number, just like Mr. Odede is okay, is a political talk, is a political thing. Now politics is a game of number. So we have a population of Yoruba now. We have 60%. Some people does not want it, either a fair call. So going by benchmarking and using it and breaking it down with the...
I'm just going to hold you off on just benchmarking.
Okay.
Mr. Yerokun. Oh yeah. Samuel Yerokun, tẹ̀síwájú.
All right, sir. Ẹ ṣé fún presentation tẹ̀sí, sir. Amaríyìnbá. Ntí èmi fẹ́ bèrè ni pé opinion poll tí a bá get result ẹ̀ tán, how far can it go? Nítorí pé if we are talking about referendum, the referendum to an extent would have hold the place of we tí ó wà nínú constitution tó bá jẹ́ pé a ṣe referendum láàrin Yorùbá tá a dẹ̀ lè sọ pé majority of our people ní tí wọ́n sọ ní. I believe that we can take that far, whether for agitation or other things. But when it's an opinion poll, how far can we take it, sir? Tí government to our own, tí ó bá yarí wípé yes, I get opinion poll, you got the result, your people want this. Tí wọn ò dẹ̀ gbà, how far can we take an opinion poll results?
Thank you very much indeed. Don't answer yet, Dr. Oni. Let me just take one or two more questions and you'll be able to respond to those comments and questions, your final thoughts, and I must go straight on to the referendum committee. So any more thoughts? Sherry, each time this program comes up, and after the program, I get lots of comments. There's still this struggle over speak Yoruba, don't speak Yoruba. I don't, as a traditionalist, I have not come across a lot of the systems that are foreign systems that you want to be communicating about in Yoruba. I've never seen it. This conflict of you say Yoruba meeting, speak Yoruba. The system that you are talking about has no traceable origin of Yoruba language. So we are being forced to be making up words. One elderly, very, very knowledgeable father of ours, who I hope is watching, we were talking about this the other day. And he said, if it is English, stick to English. We cannot continue to have this conflict. All this system doesn't belong to us. Referendum doesn't belong to you. Political party, it doesn't belong to you. Opinion poll, it doesn't belong to you. So we need to be clear, because those who are out there who are watching us, they don't want to be faced with a conflict. And that conflict we must remove so we don't create confusion. Let me go straight on to Bashegun Alabe. Over to you. I need you to explain in the language of the ideology that you presented to us.
It's interesting that although I speak in English, when I wrote the book on law, I translated Yoruba names. In order to write a book on Yoruba law, I had to translate Yoruba names and places because the Yorubas didn't write, but the Yorubas were so clever that they embedded ideas in their words. That's why, for example, my name is Olushola. It is not a name like John or Peter. You can translate my name into something. Now, I'm just going to make two comments, really quick, two comments. The first one is about legitimacy. That is, referendum is more legitimate than opinion poll. Legitimacy depends on who your audience is. It doesn't depend on you. So the idea, I mean, for example, the Catalans had a referendum.
Bashegun, ẹ jẹ́ kí n stop yín bẹ̀ yẹn.
Okay.
Alàgbà Ọdẹ́dèyí, legitimacy, kí ni Yorùbá ẹ̀? Ẹ dúró ń bẹ̀ yẹn o. Legitimacy, kí ni Yorùbá ẹ̀?
Mo máa sáré ṣètìmọ̀ ẹ̀ ní nǹkan tí Yorùbá ẹ̀ jẹ́ kì í ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ kan ṣo. Nǹkan tó jẹ́ náà ni wípé òfin, nǹkan tí òfin dè mọ́lẹ̀, nǹkan tá a fi òfin dè mọ́lẹ̀ pé ọ̀nà tá a fẹ́ leléyìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí jẹ wá lógún débi tó jẹ́ pé.
Dúró bẹ̀.
Legitimacy is not òfin.
That is it.
Mi sọ pé òfin ni legitimacy. Mo sọ pé nǹkan tá a fi òfin dè mọ́lẹ̀.
Alàgbà Ọdẹ́dèyí. Ara ohun tó ń fa ìṣòro ní ilé ayé ọ̀tá wa rè.
Yes.
Now, according to Bashegun Alabe, you heard what he has said. Legitimacy ni Yorùbá ní ń tán fi òfin dè mọ́lẹ̀. What do you say to that?
Ṣé mi?
No. I can respond to that. It has nothing to do with òfin at all. Legitimacy just means acceptance. That's what I was coming to say before you went to Alagba Ọdẹ́dèyí. Legitimacy just means acceptance. It means, that's why I said it depends on who your audience is. The acceptance depends on your audience. So you could have a referendum which can be declared illegitimate, which is what happened to the Catalans. Let me see.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt him. Please, I don't want to interrupt.
Okay.
Let him finish his plot.
Okay.
The next question was, how far can the the result of opinion go? It can go almost anywhere. For example, we can go today and speak to the Biden administration and say, this is the opinion poll that we have from Yoruba land. This is what they think. This is what we want. They can then tell us what else we need to do. We can't the problem with the way we are doing things now, for me, it is just too slow. If you organize an opinion poll, it is quick. We get a result. We can take it to the UN. We can take it to the US. We can take it to Downing Street and say, this is what our people think. And let us wait and see them tell us that that's not what our people think.
Eshe, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I'm going to go straight on to Samuel Yorokun. What do you have to say to that? What do you have to say to that?
Yes, in tí mo fẹ́ sọ about that ni pé tí a bá gbé opinion poll lọ káàkiri, the height tó lè dé ó ní wípé irú àwọn ìjọba àgbáyé ó lè jẹ́ pé wọ́n wá máa tún wá dá wa padà sílé pé ká lọ ṣe referendum.
Can I come in here as somebody who've had the most cherished privilege of being involved in systems where this was put in effect?
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of standing for elections in Britain on the platform of the Conservative Party, and opinion polls, as far as we were concerned, helped us as political party to be clear what the electors are saying. One, it helps us to tweak our promises. It gives us a forecast of where we are likely to end up if we don't change our strategy. That's one way in which we used it. And we don't use it on the day of election. In fact, without us asking for it, although money spent in that direction, to be able to just put out questions. And based on that question, or those questions, we are able to repackage ourselves to win election. It's nothing as major or fanciful as I'm talking about. Again, I can talk about my experiences of preparing for the Scottish referendum. In fact, the Conservative Party that led that, we had lots and lots of issues arise. Let's just relax. Let's just relax. The challenge I see here is because we say, Aláwa Yorùbá fẹ́ gbòmìnira, òmìnira tá fẹ́ gbà, ọ̀nà òyìnbó la fẹ́ fi gbà á. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ronú sí. Òmìnira tá fẹ́ gbà, ọ̀nà òyìnbó láti fẹ́ fi jìjà gbára ẹ̀tọ́ wa. Now, we are here talking about foreign systems which will enable us to be able to get on the foreign platform and hopefully convince. First of all, Yoruba people don't know anything about these systems we are talking about. They don't know anything about the system we are talking about. Majority, if I can say that, because the reality is when you look at the gathering at Igogo the other day, just look at that group. So we are faced with interesting times ahead. Yoruba wants freedom. Are we going to get freedom from the methodology by which we are going to negotiate or facilitate the freedom? I will repeat, we want freedom, yes, but freedom from what level? From the moment we start to find out whether our people want it or they don't want it, do we need to free ourselves from using all these methodology that normally, if we go back to the days of our ancient fathers and mothers, we don't have any, we would be using that kind of a system. So I like what you said, Dr. Oni. Facilitates opportunity for us to develop better understanding of ourselves, of what we're trying to do, of what others are suggesting, and to be able to enable cohesion of thought. I want to thank you. I don't want to spend too much time on you because the referendum committee made up of a panel of 3 who were supposed to talk about this haven't been working on it as a group. You came on the last session, which was just last week, because single-handedly and well done, you decided to be a responsible Yoruba citizen, got fed up like most people, and decided you wanted to get on to finding a quick route, not effective, strategic. And last week we looked at petitions, and this week your suggestion of opinion polls, I believe we have done justice to. Let me put it in a nutshell. Opinion polls allow you to go out to ordinary people and find out from them what their thoughts are on a particular subject. Simple. We just want to know their thoughts. What are you thinking? That's all. So I want to thank you very much, Dr. Onim. Thank you for joining me again today. And I'm so sorry. I know you are very busy. So may I bid you goodbye as you return to your everyday life. Thank you. It's been wonderful having you. Let me go straight on to the Yoruba Referendum Committee. Now, for this part 2, I'm going to invite Alagba Femi Odedi, the coordinator, to introduce his team and what we expect of you. We expect that each one of you will introduce yourself, including mention the ancient Yoruba organization you've ever been a member of. Share your thoughts of being the member of this number of Yoruba organizations, Afenifere, Atayeshe, NMRN, Odua, Revolution Party, all of that, so many of them. Important, I want to emphasize, we want to hear you. Kí lójú rí nínú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ wọ̀nyẹn, kí lẹ̀kọ́ tẹ́ rí kọ́, kí ni àwọn àgbẹ̀dọ̀, torí pé ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ la fẹ́ ṣe. If we are going to enable quality collaboration between ourselves in order to move forward, I want to hear the bad news, the bad experiences you had. I don't want to hear the good ones, the bad ones, terrible ones. So let me suggest, Alagba Odedi, ẹ kọ́kọ́ kí wa, ẹ sọ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ ti ṣe, kí làwọn nǹkan burúkú pátápátá gbá tó rí nínú ẹgbẹ́ yẹn.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. Àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ mi tá jọ wà bí Mr. Yerokun àti Mr. Shengeraman, àwọn náà sọ tiwọn. Kò sí púpọ̀ lọ títí náà nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ kínní àti kó tó di pé ọ̀rọ̀ June 12 ṣẹlẹ̀ láti ń ṣe ẹgbẹ́ tá a ti rí wípé ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ó nídìí ká wá nǹkan ṣe sí, kò lè máa lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. June 12 kan wá dé, ó wá tún da gbogbo ẹ̀ pọ̀ mọ́ra wọn. Ẹgbẹ́ tá a ní nígbà yẹn là ń pè ní Action Group kó tó di June 12 yẹn. Ìgbà tó dé so Action Group a dá ẹgbẹ́ yẹn lẹ̀ nítorí pé a sọ pé àwọn ò gbà bí ìjọba ológun ṣe fagilé ẹgbẹ́ yẹn ní 1966, a dẹ̀ ń ṣe lọ. Ẹni tó jó lórí wa nígbà yẹn, orúkọ ẹ̀ James Aluko ni, member Action Group tí wọ́n dàrú nígbà yẹn. Òun ni wọ́n ń wá nígbà tí wọ́n ń ṣe ẹjọ́ àwọn Chief Awólọ́wọ̀ tó ń pè ní treasonable felony trial. Òun ni wọ́n ń wá káàkiri tí wọ́n rí, nítorí pé ẹgbẹ́ Action Group ti fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan wípé kán rán wọn lọ sí Ghana, kán lọ dúró ní Ghana. so that wọ́n á lè máa carry out àwọn nǹkan tó kù. So bọ́n ṣe wà ní Ghana yẹn náà wọ́n ń wá sí Nàìjíríà wọ́n padà wọ́n ṣáà ń ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kán ṣe. So ẹgbẹ́ yẹn wà ń bẹ̀. Ìgbà tó wá dé ọ̀rọ̀ June 12 àti gbogbo ẹ̀ àwa sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ míì tí wọ́n dìde ńgbà yẹn, ìdílé tí ọ̀gbẹ́ni Dáre Bàbárìnsá wá ń jọ yẹn, New Generation ìtàwọn Gbénga Daniel àti Jimmy Agbájé bọ́n ṣe jẹ́ ńgbà yẹn kì í ṣe bọ́n ṣe jẹ́ nísìnyí, bọ́n ṣe jẹ́ ńgbà yẹn wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀. Heritage táwọn Tòkunbọ̀ Ajásin àti Mr. Fẹ́mi Yíròkun wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀. Oòduà Liberation Movement ọ̀gbẹ́ni tó ti ṣaláìsí nísìn tó ti dolóògbé nísìn Ọbádọ̀fin Rótìmí Ọbádọ̀fin àti Oòduà Youth Movement. So aṣákóra wa jọ àwa pera wa ní alájọbí. Nígbà tá a pera wa ní alájọbí yẹn gbà mí láyè kí n má sọ̀rọ̀ ohun tó bàjẹ́ kan máa kàn sọ bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe sọ.
Ẹ làgbà dédé yìí ẹjọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run. Ifá ló fi ṣẹ́rẹ̀ mí n tó bad yẹn lèmi fẹ́ gbọ́. Nítorí tá a bá mọ ohun tó bad we would know. Let me give you an example. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn. I want to thank a number of people I've approached and appealed to and begged to enable me to reach out to many Yorubas that I would call dedicated freedom fighters. And what I've discovered, I have to say, totally shocked. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ Yorùbá, kódà wọ́n tún fi oògùn para wọn nú ẹgbẹ́. Yorùbá, wọ́n lọ sílé olóògùn nígbà tó lóògùn náà ó yẹ ẹjọ́ torí Ọlọ́run nígbà tó yẹ kó máa lọ fòògùn pa enemy. Wọ́n tún wá ń fòògùn yẹn para wọn. Ẹjọ́ tó bá sọ fún pé gbogbo aṣọ kọ́ là ń sá lóòrùn, ìdí ìgò là lè sá lóòrùn. Ṣé ó ti yẹ yín gbogbo aṣọ la máa tá a bá sọ síta ẹgbọ́n tèmi nígbà tí àwọn èèyàn jàjàǹgbara títí tí wọ́n dorí kọlé olóògùn traditionalist tó ṣoògùn fún wọn pé kó lè dá fún wọn kó wá jẹ́ pé oògùn yẹn ló fi ń para wọn àwọn Yorùbá ẹ jẹ́ ká sòótọ́ náà n tí ò dáa ni mo fẹ́ gbọ́ mi ì fẹ́ gbọ́ n tó dáa.
Tẹ́rìmà kò sí n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní pé gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ sọ yẹn ó wà nílẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsìn bá ṣe wà yìí kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé à ń fa orí olórí lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ nítorí tí n bá sọ̀rọ̀ síta ipe lágbájá ṣe báyìí ẹgbẹ́ báyìí
ẹ má sọ on behalf of anybody.
Wọn ò sí bí láti defend ara wọn.
Don't speak on behalf of anybody. Please share your own experiences. If you say to me, I never came across any negativity, I will agree. Don't speak for anybody. You've been a member.
So that ọ̀rọ̀ referendum ta fẹ́ sọ tún ní.
We are going to go to that. Don't forget, I've invited representatives of organizations, minimum age 10 years old, to come and share with us their experiences. So the first thing I want to do is please yourself, Alagba Shandel, Ati Alagba Yorokun, share your experiences. I want to hear the bad. I don't want to hear the good. If you say you had no experiences of bad, it's okay. We agree. Good.
Okay, so I mean, àṣà wà nínú alájọbí yẹn, ṣùgbọ́n nínú alájọbí yẹn, àwọn kan wà ńbẹ̀ tí gbogbo wa là ń ṣe Afẹ́nifẹ́re, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn kan wà ńbẹ̀ tó ń ríra wọn wípé àwọn Fẹ́nifẹ́re ju àwọn kan lọ. Àwọn kan tó bá dìbò fẹ́ máa sọ yẹn. Tá a bá débi tó yẹ pé ìgbà tá a wá gbé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá constitution lẹ̀, our action group la gbé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn sílẹ̀ wípé ọ̀nà tá a lè gbà yọ Yorùbá nínú gbogbo tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí ní ká ní constitution tiwa ká dẹ̀ wá ṣe referendum lórí ẹ̀. Àwọn kan á gbẹ̀yìn wa, wọ́n á lọ sọ fún àwọn àgbààgbà Afẹ́nifẹ́re pé kán má dá wa lóhùn. Àwa dépàdé Afẹ́nifẹ́re, àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ágíù ìpè kínní. So gbogbo yánmọyànmọ yẹn ṣá wà nílẹ̀. kó tó di pé àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re gan da àárín wọn dàrú. Ìgbà tí gbogbo ẹ̀ wá dọ́lẹ̀, àwa tá a dẹ̀ gbé ọ̀rọ̀ kalẹ̀, ta ní action group, àwa la gbé ọ̀rọ̀ kalẹ̀, a fẹ́ kó kú. Àwa dì í mú ipe a ní jẹ́ kó kú, a máa ṣe lọ bí alájọbí ìjọba tiẹ̀ ti kú, ìyẹn ò ní kí nǹkan tá a gbé kalẹ̀ kú. Eléyìí dẹ̀ máa wà connected pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí alàgbà Múyìwá Ìdòwú tó sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan nípa ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀. So ipe tí nǹkan bá wà nílẹ̀ tó pa wá pọ̀ tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ wá lógún, àwa ọ̀nà tá a fi máa ṣe. So nígbà tí alájọbí parí, ọ̀rọ̀ tó dàrú, àwọn kan nínú wa nínú action group wọ́n ṣèpàdé pẹ̀lú àwọn kan nínú heritage tí mo sọ pé wọ́n wà níbẹ̀ yẹn. Wọ́n wá dá ẹgbẹ́ mi lẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń pè ní Atáyéṣe. So Tòkunbọ̀ Ajásin, Wọlé Àìná, gbogbo wọn aṣá wà níbẹ̀, àwa nínú Atáyéṣe yẹn náà à ń ṣe lọ. Ìgbà tó yá, Atáyéṣe náà ní wàhálà tiẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Jonathan ò ṣe Jonathan àti gbogbo ẹ̀. So àwa tá a dẹ̀ ń wí pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ò ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Jonathan àbí ọ̀rọ̀ táwa fẹ́ dìmú, kì í ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Jonathan ò ṣe Jonathan àbí Tinubu ò ṣe Tinubu. Nǹkan táwa ń ṣe la fẹ́ ṣe. Olúkálùkù pín ìyà rẹ̀. Àwa kó má tún wá dìjà, àwa pera wa ní action group mọ́, nítorí àwọn tó lọ sí Atáyéṣe náà wọ́n á sọ pé action group làwọn náà. Àwa ní àwa máa change orúkọ tiwa sí ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà. Máa jẹ́ kí Mr. Rahman sọ̀rọ̀ lórí yẹn.
Ẹ dúró ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Ṣé ẹ rí i pé Olódùmarè á bá mi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín? Ìdí tí mo fi pe ìjókòó ilé ni pé ká gbọ́ àwọn nǹkan tí ò dáa. Ó ní ká wò bóyá ń gbà tẹ́yìn ṣe ẹgbẹ́ dídí yẹn pé ìwà kátikàtí tá à ń rí ní òde òní bóyá kò sí ń gbà yẹn, àbí ìwà kátikàtí bíi Kathleen yìí náà ó sì continue lóde òní. Àti rẹgbẹ́ tó dálẹ̀ wọ́n yà ó tó ká wọ́n pín sí mẹ́ta. Àkísọ́ ká kú síbẹ̀, ṣàkátà pààrà là ń sí tọ́. Ká máa bò mọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá máa bò mọ́lẹ̀, wọ́n máa parọ́ fún wọn ra wọn, wọ́n máa tanra wọn, wọ́n máa nínú ẹgbẹ́. Kódà tó bá jáwo ní ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá ni àdá. Àwọn tá a ṣàwọn ni wọ́n ń gbénu àwo ṣàwo. Àwọn tó wà ní líìdì wọn ní sọ, àwọn tó wà lẹ́yìn wọn ní sọ fún wọn. Ìmí inú wọn ní constitution, wọn ní bank account, wọn ní nothing. Bàbá dẹ̀ ń béèrè question, wọn ní dá yín lóhùn. A lè collaborate lórí irọ́. We cannot. The behavior is very bad. We cannot move forward. When in an organization, some people believe they are the movers and shakers, and they are load unto themselves and not accountable to anybody. Let me tell you this. Gẹ́gẹ́ structure the traditional institution. Tabari area kan ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Ògbóni ní alágbára, Olúwo òun ló lórí ńbẹ̀. Àwọn ni ọ̀gá ọba ìlú. Tó bá jẹ́ side Ìjẹ̀bú ní Alóṣùgbó. Some areas no Alóṣùgbó tó jẹ́ pé Olúwo òun ló lórí. Ọba is the front. Ọba cannot say òun wà accountable. Adéra àwọn ẹgbẹ́ wọ̀nyí wọ́n di òṣàkúnlẹ̀ bọ́. They won't account for their actions. Wọ́n that decision make. They do everything behind. Àwọn tó ń pè member. If you don't want members, don't have members. Don't deceive them. If we are going to collaborate, me need the answer. If we are going to collaborate, we have to understand absolute transparency and accountability. Otherwise, we want freedom. We want freedom for Yoruba. We're going to, first of all, have those of us who are members of any organization, you must have freedom. Freedom to know everything going on in that organization. No sharing new organization. So ẹ fi yẹn lẹ̀ mi nídìí àṣà yín ẹ jẹ́ kí n padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ ẹnì
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́
kejì.
mà mi tí ì parí ẹ̀ tán kí n kàn fi sentence yẹn sí pé ìgbà tá a wá dá Yorùbá referendum committee lẹ̀ ìyẹn ni ó máa jẹ́ answer fún tẹ́ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ sọ tán nísìn. Àwa tá a dálẹ̀ àwa sọ pé àdá ẹgbẹ́ lẹ̀ o. Nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe ni pé ẹni tó bá fọwọ́ sí ọ̀rọ̀ referendum yìí kó máa bọ̀ ń bẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́ tó bá wà kì í ṣe àdá ẹgbẹ́ lẹ̀ a kàn sọ pé iṣẹ́ tá a fẹ́ ṣe ni n ta dẹ̀ máa dúró lé lórí nìyẹn inú ẹgbẹ́ tó kálukú wà.
So that we can understand it. So this is just a committee, an ad hoc committee.
It's a committee for this
Let me ask questions. It's a committee that will not spend money. It won't collect money from anybody.
No.
And so it's just a committee.
No, it will collect money, but why it is a committee is that, why it is not an organization, is that any money or anything that is collected will be used for this particular purpose. Any other purpose outside it will not be permitted. Anyone that does not believe in pursuing the referendum will not be admitted.
So you have rules. You have rules and regulations.
Yes, we have rules.
Referendum. Sorry, there's a job. Any rules.
Then
there must be rules, code of conduct. Most Yoruba organizations, they don't have code of conduct.
Gbogbo yẹn láti consider tá fi sọ pé torí n tó wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ pé à ń form ẹgbẹ́ à ń form organization ní ọ̀rọ̀ oríṣiríṣi ego àti ambition àti gbogbo ẹ̀ àti pé wọn ní nǹkan kan tó ń gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé pé n ta fẹ́ achieve lélẹ̀ tẹ́ bá tán bá dẹ́gbẹ́ kan lẹ̀ lénìí á di pé wọ́n yà sí bí wọ́n yà sọ́hùn ìdí táwa fi sọ nìyẹn.
Let me come in there. So you are saying because of all these negativities, ọ̀rọ̀ ẹlẹ́gbẹ́dẹ́ fún Yorùbá no go area tó bá ti fẹ́ peace má dẹ́gbẹ́ lẹ̀.
lọ́dọ̀ ti wà o.
Okay, thank you.
Ẹ tó bá fẹ́ dẹ́gbẹ́ lẹ̀ lè dọ́dá ó lè lọ dẹ́gbẹ́ tiẹ̀ lẹ̀ o. Ẹ tó bá fẹ́ dẹ́gbẹ́ lẹ̀ lè dẹ́gbẹ́ tiẹ̀ lẹ̀. Ẹ dẹ̀ lè wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ kan kó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin nìkan lẹ believe nínú referendum yìí kẹ́ ẹ join wa pé ẹ wá on behalf of the ẹgbẹ́ ẹ wá nítorí personal commitment sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe. So n tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ẹgbẹ́ a máa ṣe.
Ó lè yé wa dáadáa ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ti yé mi don't forget mo pe àwọn old ẹgbẹ́ wa ni. Kí ni àrùn tó ń ṣe wọ́n? Kí ni àrùn tó ń ṣe àwọn ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá? Àrùn tó ń ṣe wọ́n òun náà ni ká máa bẹ̀rù. Ká máa bẹ̀rù. Tó bá dìde gbogbo èdè Yorùbá mẹ́ta ni mo mọ̀. Àpéjọpọ̀, àwùjọ. Now, tó bá jẹ́ àwùjọ ni kò síbi tẹ́ ẹ lè kó èèyàn jọ tí kò ní sí òfin. Kò dé síbò ìkádé ẹgbẹ́ kan lẹ̀. Ó di wípé there is no transparency. Káwọn parọ́ nù ẹgbẹ́ tí ẹ bá ṣe tí èèyàn ẹjọ́ tí ọwọ́ méjì tí ọwọ́ ọ̀tún àtòsí tí collaboration là ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. Tí ọ̀tún àtòsí 2 hands must come together and clap. There's no point putting them together. The seat must go. If we are going to have collaboration, the seat must go. In any setup, whether it's a committee, whether it's an association, whatever you call it, the seat must go. Respect must exist. Respect. You don't respect somebody who you say is part of a setup and you don't consult the person, you don't discuss with any person, then you say, I mean, need to answer you. I don't need to answer. I don't. Good. So you said yours. This is the problem Yoruba have. You know things are bad. Let us know whether having groups of people together is not going to take us anywhere. As I said, anybody. tó wà lọ́wọ́ wọn tí ayé ò bá mọ̀ sí tó bá tún yọ nínú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tuntun tó tún yọ right now.
Ohun tá à ń sọ nìyẹn kì í ṣe nǹkan tó níhù lábẹ́ òrùn. Gbogbo kò sẹ́gbẹ́ tí ò kì í ní problem tiẹ̀, kò dẹ̀ sí ìlú tí ò kì í ní problem tiẹ̀. Ẹni tí Yorùbá wa ìgbà tí even bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ a mọ wàhálà tó wà nínú action group yẹn gan gbà yẹn kó tẹ̀ tó di pé gbogbo ẹ̀ yọ ó túká síta. So gbogbo yẹn ò ń ṣe problem táwa rí ní gbogbo experience tá a ti ní. Kì í ṣe pé bóyá wàhálà wà tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní wípé most of the ẹgbẹ́ wọn kì í ní agenda. Wọn kì í sọ pé ọ̀nà yìí o bá a ṣe ń lọ yìí o ibi tá a fẹ́ kó dé nìyí o bá a dẹ̀ ṣe máa dúró nìyẹn. Tán bá ti dẹ́gbẹ́ lẹ̀ nítorí pé wọn ní agenda yẹn wọn oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló máa wọlé tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa tira wọn káàkiri ní kíní. So kò sí tán máa measure organization yẹn.
I'm going to move away from you. I'm going to move away from you because I've heard your contribution. Let me sum up what you are saying. We've listened to the not so good, and you are also preferring solution. That's fine. That's what we need to do. Fine. I agree with you. Tán bá ti gbẹ́gbẹ́ mi kalẹ̀ níjọ́ yẹn wọn ní constitution wọn ní bank account àwọn crooked people kọ́ wọn lọ register ní company house. Between 2 minutes wọn lọ register ní company house. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn di director, wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn di project officer. Within 5 minutes of setting up an organization, irú àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, we need to understand they don't know what is collaboration. Ṣọ́rọ̀ mi ti yẹ yín igi kan kò lè dágbó ṣe. Alàgbà Yẹ́rọ̀kùn, ọ̀yá kí ni àwọn bad news lẹ́yìn tí kò tẹ̀lé alábàápàdé?
Ẹ ṣeun ìyáàfin wa dẹ Erelu ẹ ṣeun mà mo dẹ̀ tún kí gbogbo ìjókòó. Èmi kàn máa sọ ní ṣókí. Ní I think about 2016 there was Yoruba Rebirth Forum which I was invited to nítorí pé by a part of the media iṣẹ́ tí mo ṣe. Although it's more about more on the volunteering side. Scotland lèmi wà níbí báyìí. Mo ti rí pé méjì ni mo máa sọ. So nípa ti Yoruba Rebirth Forum, it was almost ìgbà tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń kó ẹgbẹ́ yẹn jọ nítorí pé ìgbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ orí messenger ni. But then there were more interest and a suggestion was made pé kí wọ́n move ẹ̀ sórí WhatsApp. It was moved on WhatsApp. During the course of time, tí wọ́n try láti put things together. Mi mọ̀ bóyá this works for other groups as well. Nígbà tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn, kí almost everybody, wọ́n sọ pé okay, kí ni ká kọ sínú constitution yìí, àbí báwo ni ká ṣe ṣe ẹgbẹ́ yìí. Mo rí pé ní apá ti Yoruba Rebirth Forum, ibi tí wàhálà ti ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn. Rather than wípé bóyá kí ó jẹ́ pé kí committee ó wà tí gbogbo wọn bá yọ committee pé okay o ẹ̀yin márùn yìí ẹ lọ make a proposal wá nípa the constitution and everything, then bring it to the group. But àwọn fẹ́, which I think is reasonable as well, wípé kí gbogbo àwọn tó wà represented kún ó sọ ní tí wọ́n fẹ́ tí wọ́n máa kọ sínú the setting up of the group itself. And irú Mọ́gàjí Gbóyèga Adéjùmọ̀ wọ́n wà ńbẹ̀. And I think kíní conference kan tí wọ́n ṣe ní Liberty Stadium ní Ìbàdàn, I think FFK was actually directed to go and speak on behalf of that group. But it was at the planning stage and ó dẹ̀ ń gather momentum until when it actually come into taking the opinions of almost everybody that is represented on some issues that were meant to go into constitution, and then everything just went down. Títẹ̀ tó jẹ́ kejì tí mo máa sọ ìyẹn Erelu mi mọ̀ bóyá ẹ máa rántí we've had chat before ní pẹ̀lú Prince Ṣẹ́gun Òní, that is USDP, United Social Democrats Party of Nigeria. It's not kò tí wà registered, but during that time, we were writing up proposals and co and send say our government, most especially the one in the Southwest. So Morope, it was one of the times that we were trying to get some advice and co ni Prince Oni, ni one contact in Bayan. Now,
I remember.
Yes, I was the international spokesperson tentatively for the group then. Now, Igbati Awu, because we were, I think it should be around 2014, can we actually harness the strength of the youth? Láti Etigba, one state sílẹ̀ ní Yoruba states. If we can get one, tí àwọn èèyàn bá dẹ̀ rí impact, most possibly we might be able to get the other one as well. So I was given that responsibility. Most of àwọn tí mo dẹ̀ mọ̀, àwọn Yínká Ewéjẹ́, even àwọn tó ní extreme views, grandson, all of them were invited in to ask everybody, pé ká drop whatever political together we have. Let's talk about Ọ̀yọ́ State la concentrate lé lórí. Is it possible fún gbogbo àwọn tá jẹ́ youth, both àwọn tí wọ́n wà partisan àti àwọn tí wọ́n wà apolitical, could they come together? Ká mú one of the parties tó jẹ́ pé ó ti wà registered but tó wà moribund, ká take over. Then kí Ademo pé is the party for the youth.
Sorry, what went wrong?
So what went wrong ni pé at the beginning it was fine, people were contributing, but at a time some other people were brought in. Timba, I mean, you asked us to talk straight, so I'm just going to talk straight. Àwọn tí wọ́n wá yẹn seems to be àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ supporter Baba wa Bola Tinubu.
Okay.
When they came in, ibi tí wàhálà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn, tí wọ́n sọ pé àwọn kan ní Afẹ́nifẹ́re ṣe nǹkan kan sí Bola Tinubu ńgbà kan, kìíní kan ṣe báyìí. I mean, it went so messy, and I was left with, because I was the one that was asked to coordinate it. So I just have to say, okay, I think we're not going anywhere before people begin to take it personal, that we should just stop the whole thing. So, tí mo rí nìyẹn pé ìgbà míì àwọn ẹlòmíì, whether they are paid or they just have love for maybe one of the leaders, they seems not to be able to forget àwọn tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. Anything, I mean, telling them that, listen, these things has happened over 10, 20 years back. If we don't come together, we won't be able to come forward. But some of them seem to find it very difficult to move on.
Let me thank Alàgbà Múyìwá Ìdòwú. I know I got hold of you almost last minute. Thank you for joining us today. If you do have anything to say before you go back to your everyday busy schedule, let me know. But whilst I'm waiting for that, let me use this opportunity to thank you very much for joining us at such short notice. And I look forward to having you around a little more as we facilitate the truth about what it means to work together. Where there is no truth, where people are afraid of talking because they are after God knows what, collaboration can never work. And what I have heard so far is a classic example of what over many years, gbogbo tó ń ṣe wá nìyẹn, tán bá ti jókòó, wọ́n pè lẹ́gbẹ́ o, ohun tí Alàgbà Fẹ́mi Ọdẹ́dèyí wí, wọ́n pè lẹ́gbẹ́ o, wọ́n pè ní committee o, wọ́n pè ní even church. Wọ́n pè àwọn olórí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì, owó tán gbà wọ́n ní jẹ́ kán mọ̀, wẹ́ tán bá ti sọ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé èmi ni mo ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì o, owó tí n bá ti gbà lọ́wọ́ yín kò sí point kí n ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ fún yín. I hate to be seen as somebody who is raking up old things, but this program, it's about a need to change behavior. Yorubas must change. We must change our behavior. We cannot continue to do the same old thing, which is to continue to pretend there is no problem and hope we can manage it and manage it and manage it. There's nothing wrong if a group of people come together first, and from there, 2 new ideas emerge. Why isn't it possible to sit down amicably and find a way forward? The sad reality is that forever. So, having said that, I know so many people in many organizations that are doing wonderful things. If you were not doing wonderful things, Alagba Odede, I won't have you here. Alagba Europe, I won't have. I remember USDP. I was so shocked the way the maneuvering and the nonsense was going on. I said, excuse me, since when did I belong to this kind of category of people where they are trying to manipulate each other in order? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Anyway, Alagba Shengen, what about you? Please share your thoughts with us. Hello, are you with us? Alagba Shengen Rahman, are you with us? Okay. Whilst we're waiting for it, I know we have an organization here, Egbe Omo Oduduwa Niwon. Is the only Egbe Omo Oduduwa that I know. Alagba Rahman has joined us again. Welcome back. I think network. Alagba Shengen Rahman, do you want to please share your thoughts with us? Your experiences of being in one of the older Yoruba associations. Whilst that is going on, I know I have representatives of the only Egbe Omoduduwa that I know seems to be trouble-free, and they are doing great things. I'm going to be inviting one of the Egbe Omoduduwa. My encounter with them is, it seems to be trouble-free, absolutely trouble-free. So I will soon bring one representative in to share with us if my impression is right, trouble-free. And every year, I mean, they were the ones who did this huge Adile Carnival. They tend to be able to bring in people and get things done. Okay, Alagba Shengen Rahman, are you back with us? If you are, please share with us your nightmares of being involved in the Yoruba organization. Aida. Hello. Please unmute yourself. Let me see if I can help from here.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can help from here. Okay. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute, Sarayi. Ayo ni gbohùn lẹ́nu yìí o. Alàgbà Rahman. Ó dàbẹ̀ pé there's
okay, I've done that.
Okay. Shatiba, thank you. Welcome.
So, about the Sogit move,
dàbí pé network problem wà, ẹ jẹ́ kí n wo, okay, do we have anybody from ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà ń bí, torí pé they are doing wonderful things. Mi ò rò pé mo rí wọn láì, bóyá àwọn náà ti ní difficulty. All right, we'll continue for now. Okay. Is there anybody who wants to comment? And tó ti ṣẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá rí? Azeez Ọláìdé.
Ọ̀nà wo ni a fi lè jọ ní àjọṣe ní ènìyàn tó fẹ́?
Okay. À ń gbọ́ yín, ẹ tẹ̀síwájú. Ó dàbí pé network problems. Ǹjẹ́ ṣé Nàìjíríà náà wà?
Nàìjíríà náà wà.
Ìyẹn náà ló fa gbogbo orí tí yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n mú àwọn kan tó ń ṣẹgbẹ́ ní ẹgbẹ́ wọn, mi mọ iye ọdún tó jẹ́. Azeez Ọláìdé from Mauritania. Ó yá, mú ìtara yín, ọdún mélòó lẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá Mauritania ti wà? Hello.
Hello, màmá mi, mo wà pẹ̀lú yín mà. Mo kí ẹ̀yin bàbá wà lórí ìkànnà, lórí ètò ìjíròrò ọmọ Yorùbá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá lọ́dọ̀ wa ń bí báyìí nílùú Mauritania. Ó ti pẹ́ tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, tó dẹ̀ ti ń lọ bí ọdún 20 years sẹ́yìn tí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ń bí báyìí. Tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé láàrin ara wa, ṣé ń gbọ́ mi mà?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, à ń gbọ́ yín o, à ń gbọ́ yín.
So ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ti wà nígbà tó jẹ́ pé ó ti pẹ́, àmọ́ tó jẹ́ pé ó ti fìdí múlẹ̀ dáadáa. Ó ti ń lọ bí 20 years tó jẹ́ pé yes, àjọ ṣe àṣepọ̀ dáadáa. Torí ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọdún 1991 níbí báyìí, tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá, tó jẹ́ pé ó dẹ̀ ti fìdí múlẹ̀ dáadáa pẹ̀lú àwọn ikọ̀ àti gbogbo tí àwa náà ń bá ní inú kìíní. Àmọ́ nǹkan tó so òní mo ní pé mi ò dẹ̀, èmi náà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dé sórí ètò ń sìn ní mà, mi ò ní àwọn ẹni bínú pé pẹ́ mi lẹ́yìn dé ọ̀rọ̀.
Tí mo bá bèèrè lọ́wọ́ yín ni pé kí làwọn ìrírí tí ò dáa tí ẹ ti rí nínú ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá rí?
Ok. Àwọn ìrírí tí ò dáa tó wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá táwa tó jẹ́ ìpèníjà fún gbogbo wa, mo lè sọ wípé nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó máa wà láàrin àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá náà ni. Bí ká ní ìkùnsínú láàrin ara wa, kẹ́nìkan má fẹ́ gbàfẹ́ nìkan wípé ìwọ ló lórí, èmi ló lórí. Bí kálukú máa dó nítorí pé ohun tí mo bá ti sọ ló gbọ́dọ̀ di mímú ṣẹ. Tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé àwọn yẹn ó máa ń fa ìfàsẹ́yìn fún ẹgbẹ́. Ẹnu wa gbọ́dọ̀ jókòó. Àwọn nǹkan tí mo rí pé ó ń fa ìfàsẹ́yìn fún ẹgbẹ́, ìwọ ohun tí mo bá ti sọ ló gbọ́dọ̀ múlẹ̀. Tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ìyẹn ló fa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá, especially ní bíbá ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé à ń go through. Àmọ́ Ọlọ́run ti bá wa fi òpin sí àti jẹ́ kó yé wọn pé orí kò jórí kan lọ. Gbogbo wa tó bá ti jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá, ẹnì kò gbọ́dọ̀ dúró nídúró pèsè, òun lòún gbọ́dọ̀ ní final decision, òun gbọ́dọ̀ ní final ọ̀rọ̀ láti sọ. So nǹkan tí mo rí ni wípé a kì í fẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀ ara wa, dẹ̀ máa ń dún pé èmi ló lórí, ọ̀rọ̀ ti tèmi ló gbọ́dọ̀ ṣẹ. So tá bá yọ yẹn kúrò, mọ̀ pé ìlọsíwájú máa bá wa ṣá ní gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ tá dá sílẹ̀.
Thank you very much indeed. I have somebody here from Lagos State Union. I think the organization has been around for at least 25 years. Lady Shoguro, have you ever been a member of Yoruba organization before the disasters you may have encountered?
No. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very grateful to be here, and forgive me if I speak a lot of English. No, I've been in Lagos State Union for over, I think my son is 30 years now, and he was a child that I used to drag with me to the meetings. And I have seen a lot of things about Yoruba people in particular. This one issue was that first thing that we've dealt with. So Yoruba Union Lewa. I went to join the organization to improve my Yoruba. And it didn't make any difference because a lot of us spoke English, but I improved a little bit, I should say. Then nǹkan tó tún wà tó tún jẹ́ another problem ọmọ Yorùbá. A fi mi mọ bí ṣe máa sọ. A fi value sóbìnrin enough. Tóbìnrin bá wà láàrin ẹgbẹ́, ẹ máa wo obìnrin pé iṣẹ́ ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀, iṣẹ́ ọmọ ẹ̀yìn, iṣẹ́ kékeré, ẹ ṣáà máa fojú capacity obìnrin. Wàhálà yẹn pọ̀ fọmọ Yorùbá. Ó wà fún many Africans, ó wà fún many nations. But nǹkan tó yẹ ká máa wò nínú ọdún tá a wà ọdún 2021 láti ẹ̀yìn tá a ti ń bọ̀. Everybody ló mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ agbára tọkùnrin bá lè ṣe. Tó bá ní obìnrin lára lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́, obìnrin yẹn ló ń support ẹ̀ tó máa fi dẹni tó yẹ kó dì bó bá ṣe yẹ bó ṣe rí. Obìnrin máa ṣe tó lè ṣe gbogbo agbára tó bá ní. Tí obìnrin bá ń ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe àṣọ lórí, àwọn ọkùnrin ò ní fún ní ààyè ẹ̀ láti ṣe iṣẹ́ tó yẹ kó ṣe àbí kó fún ní recognition tó yẹ kó ní pé ẹ jẹ́ a support ọmọbìnrin yìí. Ìlú wa ti wà látijọ́ ọjọ́ yìí, ní obìnrin close enough láti jẹ́ àwọn tó ń dá ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ní close enough fún àwọn tó wà ní ipò tó wà very important, like the healthcare for instance. Ever fobìnrin sí ọkùnrin. Tó bá yẹ pé àwọn tó bá máa ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọlọ́mọdé ìbẹ̀lẹ̀ ti máa ró obìnrin, ṣé pé àwọn ọkùnrin ò ní àǹfààní ọmọdé láti ṣe máa tọ́jú àwọn ọmọdé ni, àbí obìnrin ò ní àǹfààní ọkàn láti lè ṣe bí ìlú ṣe lè tòrò? Ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ yìí, gbogbo nǹkan tí a ti sọ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ polling, à ń sọ a máa ṣe polls, very good idea, and mo believe nínú ẹ̀. And bí honourable ṣe sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, polling group of people or nation for a very particular purpose or general purpose has always proved to yield the response they unfair, whether exact or not. You can never know what is in the mind of a person. They can change their mind today, but on the whole, Omawa at the same level. Going back to the polling, let
me stop you there. I only want to do experiences of the organization.
Let me then go back to one more point. Lórí ọ̀rọ̀ experience àṣẹ láǹfààní obìnrin. Mo ti wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá Lagos State látijọ́ tí mo ti wà ń bẹ̀. Tí n bá ti dìde fún ipò olórí, the last opportunity tí mo ní, kì í ṣe pé mo wà ní mo bínú sí àwọn ọkọ àbí bóyá ó ṣe bákan àbí mo ní negativity towards anybody, because in my own experience, in my own feeling, the best for the organization is my first and foremost priority. But we lose the opportunity to gain skills and use people's experience and qualify or represent people equally as a nation. Kàkà fi ọmọ tó ṣẹ̀rìn wá fi jọba ju kẹ́ mú ọmọ tó ti wà nù lé lọ. Number one, ẹni tí ò bá rí bí ẹ ṣe rò pé ó yẹ kéèyàn ṣe rí tó bọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀ lọ́mọ Yorùbá, kò ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹni tí ò bá sọ̀rọ̀ bí yín kò ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹni tí ò bá tẹ̀dẹ̀ tí jẹ́ gbénú ilé fún oyè ọdún tí mo ti wà náà ẹgbẹ́, for instance, àwọn kan ṣì wà ń bẹ̀ tán rò pé ọmọ àtọ̀hún rè wá ni mí, kò dẹ̀ sí tí mo lè ṣe sí. Ọmọ Sogunró ni mí, ọmọ dúró sí mi, àwọn kí ni mo ti fẹ́ sọ? Dúró sí mi ẹ̀tì, ọmọ Sogunró, ọmọ àwọn oríṣiríṣi lọ́balọ́ba tó wà ní Nàìjíríà ni ọmọ ní background mi. Bẹ̀tẹ̀ bá wọnú ẹbí wa ọjọ́ àjọ union wa lọ́la, tẹ́ bá ní ká sọ àwọn ọmọ wo ni ọmọ tó wà Yorùbá nù wọn ò ní fojú wò mí lẹ́ẹ̀mejì. Mo dẹ̀ ti ṣoríṣiríṣi sórí union yẹn. So wàhálà wa nìyẹn, discrimination.
It's thank you very much. Thank you, Lady Sogro. You make me feel so old. I remember when I dragged two gentlemen representing Lagos State on Nigeria National Union, and I forced a Lagos State Union that you say is now 30 years old. There's nothing a woman cannot do. Two gentlemen were the only ones who were representing Lagos State Union on the Nigerian National Union. We were all members of. They never call meetings. Baba Anjorin àti Baba Gbangbose, kolonko dele fún Baba Gbangbose mi mo bóyá Baba Anjorin. I forced it, and the Lagos State Union emerged. Olódùmarè ló ṣe mí síbẹ̀. Well, I don't think I've been to the meeting for God knows how many years, but it's there. Ntọ́lọ́run rán wa láṣẹ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tẹ̀síwájú. Ṣẹ́rí, ẹ jẹ́ ká mí nǹkan kan kó clear síra wa. There is no way forward in not recognizing kò sí orúkọ kan tí a lè fún tí ò dájú pé kò dá lọ. Ìwà tó ń wunú gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ wọ̀nyí nínú ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀. Even láàrin ọkọ àtaya, ìyàwó tókùnrin jarun pálù, amorúkọ amúlọ́lé olóògùn. Ìyàwó ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ là ń rí ọ. A máa dùkìrì, a máa lọ́dọ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀lẹ̀, a máa lọ́dọ̀ kìnnìkan, a máa ṣe wúruwúru. They don't believe in character. Ifá sọ fáwa, ó ní ká múra gbàtàràgbà, ó ní ká múra gbàtàrà, ó ní ìwà là ń wá, inú ìwà ni ire wà, inú ìwà ni ibi wà. Character. Nígbà tí ìwà ṣẹ̀, tábà la fẹ́ wá òmìnira ìwà burúkú la kọ́kọ́ máa fúnra wa. A máa jáwọ́ nínú ìwà burúkú. Ìwà kí a máa ṣe mọ̀nàfíkì làwọn ṣáwọ̀ Fúlàní ló ń pè é bá Hausa. Ká máa wà bó sí ìwà rọ́. Now, I think I'm going to stop there because one thing I wanted to do, as Dr. Oni kindly stated, this platform is for us to air the truth. To air the truth. Ká sọ títọ́ káyé ṣe wúruwúru. Kò sọ́nà ń bẹ̀, bọ́n fún wa lómìnira alẹ́ ni. Tí ìwà játidà tí ṣì wà lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tá wa. Bí a jọ wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ kan náà, kẹ́ ẹ lè ṣe àṣeyọrí, kẹ́ wá jọ lọ sílé olóògùn, kán fún yín lóògùn. Kó ẹgbẹ́ ògùn yẹn ara yín lẹ fi ń ṣe, lẹ fi túra yín ká. Ṣọ́nà wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn, kó sọ́nà ń bẹ̀. Now, let me ask those in the Zoom area. Ǹjẹ́ ara ẹni tó fẹ́ sọ sí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn nǹkan tí ò lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ nínú ìwà wo àti rí lọ́wọ́ àwọn ẹni àtijọ́ báyìí? Àṣẹ̀ṣì rí lọ́jọ́ èní. Tẹ́ní ti kan màmá. Kọ́mà ti dẹ́gbẹ́lẹ̀, wọ́n ti lọ register ní company house. Kọ́mà ti dẹ́gbẹ́lẹ̀. Àwọn kan tó rò pé àwọn kàwé, ẹni bá kàwé láti kọ́gbọ́n. Wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ́gbọ́n mọ̀nàfíkì. Níjọ́ tí Ọlọ́run fún wa lọ́gbọ́n, kò fún wa lọ́gbọ́n ká máa fi ṣe jàǹbá ara wa. Lady Shoguro, you lived in England for a long time. Èmi náà ti gbé ìlú Gẹ̀ẹ́sì for a long time. Frank Bello ti gbé ìlú Gẹ̀ẹ́sì for a long time. Àwọn mọ̀nàfíkì tí ò lè jẹ́ ká lọ wájú ká jáwọ́ nù ránù ká gbómi lákaná. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń ṣerú ara wọn. None of us should be seen as slaves to each other in any organization. It should be level playing ground. If you don't trust your members, don't have them. Disband them. There's no point having members and you basically do things behind their back. When Olodumare sent me this agbako ní Tọ́nílẹ̀ Oòduà, wọ́n ní kì í ṣẹgbẹ́. I can do and undo, ṣùgbọ́n Olódùmarè mú oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn wá. So let me stop here. Is there anybody in the Zoom area that wants to add to àwọn ìwà tó ti wà ní tó jẹ́ kí gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ àtijọ́ kan dojú dé? Àwọn ìwà tó jẹ́ kó dojú dé. Nígbà táwọn ìwà yẹn jẹ́ kó dojú dé, àwọn tá à ń pè jáde kí bá ṣe lè rí wọn pè jáde. wá ṣiṣẹ́ tá à ń pè ní ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ nígbà tó jẹ́ wípé ohun tó tú wọn ká ìwà tí ò dáa ni ìwà tí ò dáa ló tú wọn ká ẹgbẹ́ bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ wọ́n ti tú ká. So, is there anybody else who would like to make comments on this? Shall I say conduct that would enable and retain collaboration? Conduct, or conduct that doesn't facilitate or enable retention of the culture of collaboration. We want freedom. Until they collaborate, as of freedom. Now, is there anybody else who would like to
yes, ma'am. Ṣé mo lè sọ̀rọ̀ mà? Yes, ma'am.
Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀.
Ohun tí mo kàn ní láti sọ ni nítorí pé èmi náà ọ̀dọ́ ni mí, àmọ́ èmi náà jẹ́ olórí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ọ̀dọ́ bíbáyìí pẹ̀lú bàbá dẹ̀ sí bíbáyìí. Ohun tó jẹ́ wípé ó ń fa ìfàsẹ́yìn fa tá a dẹ̀ rí pé àṣẹ olórí tá a gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́kọ́ mú ìyẹn sí ni wípé ká kọ́ yọ ọ̀rọ̀ ìwà ara ẹni nìkan kúrò. Tá a bá yọ yẹn kúrò tá a dẹ̀ make sure wípé orí kò ga jù kan lọ. Tí olórí bá gbà wípé òun jẹ́ ẹrú fún àwọn tóun ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú wọn ni, ó lè jẹ́ ọ̀gá kó jẹ́ pé òun lágbẹnusọ, àmọ́ olórí ò gbọ́dọ̀ máa dúró nítorí pé èmi ni mo gbọ́dọ̀ take decision. Ó jẹ́ kí decision yẹn kó wá láti ọwọ́ àwọn tó ṣe olórí lé lórí, tó jẹ́ pé ó kàn máa jẹ́ agbẹnusọ̀rọ̀ fún wọn. Ká dẹ̀ má jẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ owó kó mú mú lọ ní àyà wa. Ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó ń fa ìfàsẹ́yìn fún gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ta ní, nítorí pé wọ́n á dúró pé èmi lọ lórí ohun tí mo bá ti ní tí mo bá ti sọ ló gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe. So a gbọ́dọ̀ make sure pé gbogbo tá a bá máa sọ kó jẹ́ láti ẹnu àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ló ti wá.
Ṣẹ́rí bí tẹ́sọ́dé yẹn ẹ ti sọ kókó ọ̀rọ̀. Wọ́n bá ti ká àwọn kan síbẹ̀ tán láwọn olórí, wọn ò ní pèrò ẹ̀yìn kan tó wọ́n á mú ẹ̀tọ́ ti yín. It is every member's right to be involved in everything you are doing. If you cannot enable them to be involved, disband them. There's no point. Ẹnìkan lóhun jẹ́ president, òun ni head of state. Ẹnìkan lóhun jẹ́ secretary, kò ní bá àwọn members yòókù sọ̀rọ̀ lápò máa jẹun tó wù ú. Ẹ máa forúkọ ẹgbẹ́ ṣe é, kó awakọ̀ àsìmú rubbish. No, it's an insult. It is disrespectful. If you are taking action without informing the membership, you must do. Béèyàn wà nílé náà tọkọ fẹ́ jáde tí ò sọ fún ìyàwó kò dáa, ìyàwó fẹ́ jáde tí ò sọ fọ́kọ kò dáa, ọmọ fẹ́ ṣe kíní kan kò dáa. Let us understand pé njọ́ tá à ń bọ̀ láyé, because you happen to be the treasurer, it doesn't mean you are superior to me. Because you happen to be the chairman, you're not my superior. Even if I'm just a floor member. Ọwọ́ díẹ̀ lára ń fẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ́wọ́ fúnra wa nú tán bá ti ń pè lákòójọ ká má pè lẹ́gbẹ́. Now, ìjà rẹ̀ tó tún fẹ́ sọ sí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Ẹ̀ka kó ọ̀rọ̀ yìí.
Hello.
Ẹ tẹ̀síwájú.
Hello.
Ẹ bá mi júwe ara yín.
Táíwò Akínọlá ni o.
Ẹ ṣé.
Ó ní ara àwọn organization tí mo ti bá wọn wà rí. The leadership side tẹ́ sọ yẹn ó dàbẹ̀ pé tán bá fi àwọn èèyàn wa jẹ olórí, they find it very very difficult láti identify pé wọ́n manage the power yẹn on behalf of the group. And there is this idea pé bẹ́ẹ̀ since tán ti sọ pé olórí ni mí, ẹni tí n bá ti sọ abeg, even though it is true pé to some extent privileges you are of being a leader pé you could make mistake, but mi ò wá mọ̀ pé bóyá state of mind wa ni problem yẹn, because then another big issue ni pé wọ́n tẹ́ ẹ bá ibi tá a ti ń sọ pé à ń manage idea ń sìn pé kì í ṣe idea tèmi mo kàn rò ó débẹ̀ ni I have never given it a thought fully. Àwọn èèyàn wa seem not to be very good at it. Tán bá ti ń take a position kan, they take it too personal. Tó wá di pé tẹ́ ẹ bá wá ní bóyá kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n gbà pé person wọn lẹ̀ ń challenge. Ibẹ̀ yẹn ni mo rò pé the culture of ààrẹ apàṣẹwàá ti máa ń dé, and that culture of leadership ìṣe tá a ṣe máa ṣe tó fi jẹ́ pé a lè solve problem, because the last one tá a fi rí nígbà tí 96-year-old wà ń bẹ̀, I mean 84-year-old 82-year-old wà ní group, and kò pé oṣù mẹ́ta ẹ ti bẹ̀ sí ń jà pé irú nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí àwọn 20, the same thing. So as you rightly put it, there is a big problem there, and the fact that you don't solve a problem by running away from it. We've got to accept the problem yẹn ó wà nílẹ̀, ó ṣe jẹ́ pé gbogbo ibi ló máa ń wà. Problem of idea náà tún máa ń wà ńgbà míì. Bàbá Ọmọjọlá used to say pé àtòrí gbígbé àtòrí tútù là ń bá ní ìdí ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú. Ìgbà míì ó ń fa conflict. Another issue ni pé ìgbà míì nǹkan tí kálukú bá wá. The personal side is always there. We can't deny it from majority of the people tó wà ní group. One ní personal side. Then you have a case nígbà míì tó fi jẹ́ pé ìrètí pípẹ́ ó ń pa ọkàn, àbí wọ́n sọ pé àyàngbé ajá dùn ó dùn púpọ̀, but kí là á jẹ kájá tó gbẹ. But the core issue ni pé ká appreciate the problem yẹn, pé kí ló dé tó fi jẹ́ pé lóòótọ́ a kàwé, which means pé we are very knowledgeable, but sometimes we are lacking in understanding. How to solve that problem? We can give so many reasons behind it. Tèmi gan tí bá ní kí n tan àtùpàlẹ̀ kí n sọ èyí tí mo bá wọn rí lórí ẹ̀ ń gbà mí látòrí CD, látòrí Nàdẹ́kò tó even within our group pẹ̀lú present governor Èkìtì nígbà táwa ní New Nigeria Forum. Then when I chair CD ní international kìíní bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ń wà ní PR. The same problem ló ń come up, and the more conscious we are about it, the more the hope we can do something about it. Because wàhálà yẹn bá ti wá dé, as Erelu rightly put it, àwa máa wá personalize ẹ̀, àwa darí enemy pé láyé pé omi àti iná ni wọ́n pé wọn ò ní ṣe pọ̀. Ọlọ́run wá fún wa ṣe kédùmọ̀rẹ́ ó là wá lóye, kífá là wá kó fún wa lọ́nà, kó là wá lóye kárí náà pé kedere. Thank you.
Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Alàgbà Shengen Rahman, mo rò pé ti join wa. Ẹ tẹ̀síwájú.
Alàgbà ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè o.
We can't hear you. Where are you? We can't hear you. We can't see you either. I'm so sorry. This network is not helping. Nigeria pẹ̀lú fluctuating network.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Anytime he comes back in, tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ mi Alàgbà Rahman, anytime tẹ́ bá come back in, interrupt so that ẹ lè sọ ohun tẹ́ bá fẹ́ sọ fún wa lákòókò yẹn. Nítorí mo rò pé network yẹn ó ń fluctuate ni. Is there jẹ́ àtúrí ẹnikẹ́ni tí ó fẹ́ sọ sí àwọn ìwàkiwà tí kò ní jẹ́ kí ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ lè wà, àwọn ìwàkiwà àsọ̀rọ̀, torí ìwàkiwà ló pọ̀ jù. Ìwàkiwà kí n tó wá sórí program yìí, mo lo ọjọ́ mẹ́ta mo fi ń bá àwọn èèyàn sọ̀rọ̀, tí mo fi wádìí, tí mo ṣe wádìí, nínú ẹgbẹ́ mi àwọn ọkùnrin ibẹ̀, wọ́n máa lọ tójú bọlé àwọn obìnrin, wọ́n ní ìyá wọn kú wọn lọ ń kí wọn, bàbá wọn kú wọn lọ ń kí wọn, àwọn obìnrin tọkọ ò sí ń bẹ̀, àmàlà ń bẹ̀, sọ̀rọ̀ mi ti yé yín, oníbàárà wọn ń bó lè bọ̀, àwọn míì wọ́n máa da àwọn obìnrin ẹlẹ́ni tó fáìn, wọ́n máa dà wọ́n láàmú, àwọn obìnrin. Èmi tí mo dúró yìí, ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ̀tàn kan kékeré fún yín, mo wà nínú ẹgbẹ́ kan. Bí o fáìn mọ́ sí yìí, mo ṣé tí mo fáìn gbà yẹn, ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá ni. Náà bá ní ká lọ parí ìjà Ọọ̀ni àti Aláàfin, náà ní ká lọ, èmi dẹ̀ ní sẹ́kítírì. Èmi ò mọ̀ pé àwọn ọkùnrin wọ́n ti sọ láàrin wọn wípé Ọọ̀ni àná kì í fojú róbìnrin, èmi ti rò pé bóyá èèwọ̀ nígbà tí wọ́n sọ pé èèwọ̀, èmi ò mọ̀ pé bóyá risk wà pé wọ́n lè gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé mi àmúfàyín gbà yẹn. So wọ́n sọ létí mi o, are you listening? They didn't tell me. We agreed in a meeting. The secretary was going to go and this man. Then we agreed where we were going to meet. We agreed. And the men went on their own. I was there for 1 hour. Nígbà tó wá di lálẹ́, ní agbẹnusọ wọn wá pè mí pé kí má bínú o Lọ́lá, n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé Ọọ̀ni ò ń fojú róbìnrin, kò ń fojú róbìnrin, kí ló dé? Èmi rò pé èèwọ̀ àwọn lọ́balọ́ba ni kí fojú róbìnrin. Later ni mo wá realize pé they thought they were protecting me, pé kí Ọọ̀ni má gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé Ọọ̀ni àná ní o, kò dẹ̀ ṣe nísẹ̀yìn o, Ọọ̀ni Olúbùṣe ṣọ́rọ̀ tí èyí. So ara ìwà ènìyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ tó ń ṣe wọ́n, Ọlọ́run kó dáríjì wọ́n. Now ṣọ́rọ̀ mi ti yé yín, Ọlọ́run kó dáríjì wọ́n. So is there anybody else who want to share experiences? Do you see what I heard? They decided, because I was so young and tiny and something called attractive, they decided they didn't want to take me to see this man. They went alone as men, all of them. Just in case secretary won't disappear. Anyway, where are we? Any more thoughts, please?
Can we contribute to? Check him out. Can continue.
Continue.
Nǹkan mẹ́ta ni mo fẹ́ sọ nípa Yorùbá, àwọn organization Yorùbá. Number 1, timekeeping. Kò sí timekeeping rárá. I will be 79 in less than 4 weeks' time or 5 weeks. Gbogbo nǹkan Yorùbá tí mo ṣe, wọ́n keep time. Gbogbo àwọn organization òyìnbó tí mo bá wọn wà nílùú yìí, they keep time. They keep time. So ìwà pálapàla tó wà nínú mi sọ pé torí mo lè má wà nínú organization mi o, ṣùgbọ́n that's an observation. Number 2 is finance. We are not thorough enough in our finances. We are not transparent enough. I will say with organization tí mo belong, maybe about 90% they are not financially transparent. Tí ò bá ní síjà, gbọ́n mi sí omi ò tó, we've got to look at that. Anybody tó wà nínú organization must have access to the account, the spending, everything. It has to be like that. Báwọn òyìnbó bá ṣe rí táwọn òyìnbó ń ṣe nìyẹn, àwọn náà ní fault o. Then number 3 is constitution, the guidelines. Ìgbà tí mo wà níbi iṣẹ́, à ń pè kinní kan ní general standing instruction. Instruction tí wọ́n gbélé wa lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn. Our behavior must be in agreement with the constitution. Everybody must understand what the constitution states. So, níbi constitution yẹn ni mo fẹ́ yẹn ló máa fi performance àwọn èèyàn. Torí nínú performance, ẹnìkan ò wá sí meeting rárá, ó kàn election bọ̀, ó kàn yọjú nítorí pé ọmọ justice whatever ni wọ́n á dẹ̀ fi ṣe chairman. It will not work. Performance has to be, election has to be on performance. A recorded performance that everybody is aware of. So, nínú ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá, performance is not taken into consideration in most of the time. Ẹni tó ti wà ń bẹ̀ for 6 years, ẹnìkan dé because he's this or that on that. Company, that has spent 25 years, You cannot just come today and become the chairman. It's not possible because you do not understand what is all there. You have to perform. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or you're a woman. Selection must be based on performance. Yoruba lacks that a lot. And that's why Yoruba clubs and everything doesn't perform well. That's my observation.
Now, I think we have explored as detailed as we possibly can. Ati gbé ọbẹ̀ sórí iná, àti wò désàlẹ̀. Èmi ò rí nǹkan míì tí ó ju gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún rán ara wa létí. A ní gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ àtijọ́ yìí, even ẹgbẹ́ tó jẹ́ 70 years old. Mo rò pé ẹgbẹ́ tó jẹ́ 70 years old àbí 72 ni mo mọ̀. Àdèmọ̀ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mìíràn náà jẹ́ wípé gidigbo ẹ̀yà níbi èwo ò ń gbọ́ èmi ò ń gbà, ìwọ ò ń gbọ́ èmi ò ń gbà, ká máa fojú tẹ́ńbẹ́lú ara wa, ká máa sọ tán bá ti dìbò fún tán ti fi ṣe secretary ó di dọ̀gálé ayé nìyẹn. Tán bá ìmí wọn tí ẹni dìbò fún wọn má kàn ju wọn síbẹ̀ ní. There's nothing wrong in having organizations where people are selected and not elected. I mean, when I say selected, àwọn kan forí korí, wọ́n yan ẹnìkan wọ́n fi síbẹ̀. Tó máa ń ṣe oyè, wọ́n ṣe mú nìyẹn. So ṣe rí gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, mo mọ̀ wípé èèyàn tó dáa ní ìran Yorùbá, èèyàn tó dáa ní Adẹ̀lá kíkanjú. Tó bá ti di ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá, ó máa ń ka gbogbo alára. That's positive. But the conduct, bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́nu OPC, ẹ̀rí gbọ́ ẹ̀rí kà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sínú ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà, ẹ̀rí gbọ́ ẹ̀rí kà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sínú ẹgbẹ́ CD, ẹ̀rí gbọ́ ẹ̀rí kà. Alájọbí, ẹ̀rí gbọ́ ẹ̀rí kà. A dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe collaboration. Collaboration ò lè ṣiṣẹ́ níbi tó jẹ́ wípé àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ò mọ̀ tí ó ń lọ́nu ẹgbẹ́. We cannot have upstairs, downstairs in any organization. It's just not on. Nǹkan pè lẹ́gbẹ́, òun ni pé ọ̀rọ̀ wa yíra wa. If you cannot trust àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́, don't even have them. Àti rí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ rí ibi tí allegations níbẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn, wọ́n nígbà tán lọ síbi kan wọ́n gbówó fún wọn, wọ́n sọ fẹ́ anybody kó gbówó fún wọn, gbóyá lọ lọ pín láàrin ara wọn. All sorts of allegations because people are not transparent. Téèyàn bá ti ní ẹgbẹ́, gbogbo àgbọn yẹn láti fọkalẹ̀ sójú gbogbo wa ni, kò sí kọ́nákọ́ná, kò sọ́nà ń bẹ̀, kò sí ọ̀nà ń bẹ̀. Nítorí wípé bí bàbá Prince Adétayọ̀ ṣe sọ, tí a bá tiẹ̀ máa ní káwọn kan máa nìṣó, wọ́n máa ṣe nítorí pé àyókù ààrẹ dá sí. Ó ń láti dá wa lójú pé kì í ṣe ìfẹ́nu wọn náà kàn ń ṣe. Yóò túbà yóò túṣe fún wa. Alàgbà Ọdẹ́dẹ̀ yìí, ó yá, let's go to Yoruba referendum. Ẹ ṣàlàyé fún wa. Alàgbà Ọdẹ́dẹ̀yí, we are waiting for you. Fẹ́mi Ọdẹ́dẹ̀yí, we are waiting for you.
His mic is off.
Okay, all right. Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi báyìí? Hello?
À ń gbọ́ yín, please go ahead.
Okay, ma. Yeah. So ńgbà ọ̀rọ̀ referendum yẹn, nǹkan tó fà á essentially ni pé ìbéèrè tí a kọ́kọ́ bira wa léèrè ni pé kí ni àwa Yorùbá fẹ́ gbára wa lẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀? Irú ìṣòro wo la wà tá a ṣe sọ pé a fẹ́ autonomy àbí a fẹ́ self-determination? Àwa wò pé màá máa sọ lóyìnbó àti Yorùbá papọ̀ ni wípé irú nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ìbàràpá lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí ó ti ní Ìbàràpá area nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ó ti ó ṣò wá wípé gbogbo ilẹ̀ àwa adúláwọ̀ ní Áfíríkà wípé nǹkan tó ń ṣe wá what we call the post-colonial experience is one of perpetual conflict between the state that is bí ìjọba and the various peoples oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn tó wà nínú ìlú yẹn nítorí pé separation wà láàárín ìjọba tó múlùú ró àti àwọn èèyàn tó wà nínú ìlú yẹn. So orí ìjọba yẹn ó wá di nǹkan tó jẹ́ nǹkan àjòjì tó wá ń lead sí oríṣiríṣi kàtàkàtà àti civil war nínú ìlú irú ìtarí ní tá à ń gbọ́ ní Cameroon irú tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà láti 1960 or Central African Republic àbí tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ní Ethiopia lẹ́nu sí or Rwanda Mali àti gbogbo ẹ̀ nǹkan tí àwa collectively pè ní national question nìyẹn that is kí ni ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn èdè orílẹ̀-èdè tó wà nínú ìlú kọ̀ọ̀kan torí gbogbo ilẹ̀ Áfíríkà ló ní problem yẹn pé gbogbo ìlú Áfíríkà wọ́n ní orílẹ̀-èdè tiwọn nínú ìlú yẹn wá jẹ́ olórí àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè yẹn nǹkan tó ń fa wàhálà nìyẹn. So àwa wò pé okay kí ni àwa Yorùbá ti gbé ṣe nígbà tí àwọn elédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tán jẹ gàba lórí wa. Àwa rí wípé ìkànnà àwọn ìdí tí àwọn Chief Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ fi dá ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà sílẹ̀ ní 1945 ni wọ́n pè ní màá quote wọ́n pé to foster a pro-development Yoruba subnationalism to complement and strengthen the pro-independence Nigerian nationalism. In other words, pé wọ́n dá ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà yẹn sílẹ̀ láti jẹ́ kí orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá kí àwa Yorùbá a máa ṣe tiwa láti fi tún darapọ̀ pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn tán láwọn fẹ́ kí àwọn òyìnbó lọ ní kínní. So láti ṣe yẹn wọ́n lọ sínú ìtàn ìṣe àṣà àti oríṣiríṣi ọ̀rọ̀ political kínní tí wọ́n develop láti make it. So irú nǹkan tí wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ tó jẹ́ pàtàkì tó ń sọ ńgbà yẹn ni wípé there must nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe constitutional conference lórí Nàìjíríà ní London nǹkan tí wọ́n lọ sọ síbẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n láti pín Nàìjíríà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ èdè àti ẹ̀yà pé tí Nàìjíríà tá a bá fẹ́ gba òmìnira lọ́wọ́ Nàìjíríà o the grouping of Nigeria into various autonomous states or regions purely on ethnical basis, and that regional autonomy should be the prerequisite for a central government, and that if there was any area in which the colonial government wanted to experiment in giving Nigerians complete control over internal affairs, that area should be in regional administration. Àmọ́ gbogbo tí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà yẹn tá fi ń rìfà sí nísìnyí pé òun ni golden era wa gbogbo oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tí àwọn ìjọba Awólọ́wọ̀ gbé ṣe láti 1951 títí di 1959. So lẹ́yìn yẹn lábẹ́ ìjọba àwọn Gẹ̀ẹ́sì nìyẹn a tún wá wò pé òkè o kí ni àwa Yorùbá tá a rí ṣe kí ni experience wa nígbà tá a wá di Nàìjíríà nígbà tí Nàìjíríà gba òmìnira ẹ̀. So àwa mú ní kọ̀ọ̀kan àwa ní since independence in 1960 the Nigerian post-colonial state has embarked on a systematic unitarization and homogenization of the various cultures resulting in the emergence of a monolith that has become a drag on socio-economic development, parasitic on the natural and human resources of the Nigerian peoples. This has manifested in Yoruba land. It must be on regional basis that the golden area. So, but ó ti wá manifest nísìn pẹ̀lú gbogbo ohun ìjà tó ń gbé wá bá wa nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú tó jẹ́ pé kókó bẹ̀ ní irú ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n bìlíìfì pé bí ìgbésí ayé wọn àti ọrọ̀ ajé wọn ó wà dependent lórí bọ́n ṣe ń kó àwọn màálù wọn káàkiri. Wọ́n dẹ̀ tún lórí gbogbo ẹ̀ àwọn náà dẹ̀ tún wà ní control ìjọba Nàìjíríà. So gbogbo ọrọ̀ ajé àti economy tó ń ṣe òun náà ló ń affect wa. That's why tó ṣe jẹ́ pé iye tó ń ta epo ní Sókótó náà ń tà l'Ékòó tí ò dẹ̀ yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. So gbogbo yẹn dẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sí ó lòdì sí gbogbo nǹkan tí àwa Yorùbá ti gbé ṣe. Ìkejì àtúnmọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá náà pé àwọn tó ti ìlà oòrùn wá gbogbo ilẹ̀ náà ti fẹ́ ra tán àti ilé àti gbogbo ẹ̀ àti ọrọ̀ ajé àti gbogbo ẹ̀. So tá bá pa méjèèjì pọ̀ ìtàwọn darandaran ń ṣe àti tí àwọn ọrọ̀ ajé tó ń ṣe. A ní a personal experience kan gbà kan argument kan ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin àwọn Yorùbá intellectuals àtàwọn intellectuals láti East. Wọ́n ń láyé àwọn Yorùbá yẹn pé nǹkan tí ò ṣe jẹ́ káwọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ guerrilla warfare nígbà ogun yẹn tó ti rí pé àwọn máa lose. Nǹkan tí ó jẹ́ káwọn ṣe guerrilla warfare tó ń ṣe surrender ni wípé wọ́n ti wòye pé àwọn organize ara àwọn wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ra gbogbo ilẹ̀ àti nǹkan àìníwa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Pé tán bá ti ní control lórí ìyẹn wọ́n ti mú wa nìyẹn. Nǹkan tó ń kọjáde ni tá a dẹ̀ rí. So tá bá pa méjèèjì pọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ irú ẹ̀ ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Europe rí nígbà tí Adolf Hitler tó ń jàjà ogun kejì ẹ̀ pé nǹkan tó fà á tógun yẹn fi wáyé ni pé àwọn Hitler ń wá ibi ààyè láti develop ara wọn. Àdè máa rí ní ìsìn tán bá sọ pé àwọn Fúlàní ṣe báyìí àwọn Hadas ṣe báyìí nǹkan tó máa ń sọ ní pé àwọn ń wá ààyè láti fi ṣe ìgbà láti fi ṣe àwo tí ò bá sí ààyè yẹn àwọn ò ní lè gbé. Ìyẹn ni à ń pè ní Lebensraum, which is defined as the acquisition of a territory, a nation or nationality considers necessary for her survival and development as being tí North àti East ń ṣe ní ìsìn tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ó jọra mọ́ nǹkan tí Hitler ṣe ní Europe ńgbà yẹn tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé àwa Yorùbá ni àwa ń ṣe kìíní ẹ̀. So bí Nàìjíríà ṣe wà ó ti wá sọ wá di pé instead ọ̀rọ̀ darandaran kì í ṣe ayé ò ṣe darandaran mọ́ nísìnyí tán bá tẹ̀ máa ṣe wọ́n ní ráǹtì tán ṣe wọ́n ní bọ́n ṣe máa ń ṣe tá a dẹ̀ ti ní nílẹ̀ wa. Ọ̀dẹ́dá wà ń bẹ̀, Fàṣọlá wà ń bẹ̀, gbogbo wa mọ̀ gbogbo yẹn tán ti ń sin ẹran àti ní Ìwó road nígbà yẹn tán ti ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ yẹn. So gbogbo instead kí Nàìjíríà wá create situation tó máa wà mutually beneficial láàrin gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀yà àti èdè tó wà Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n wá ń pè ní restructuring àbí through federalism àbí constitutional reformation tí ó yẹ kó jẹ́ pé ìyẹn ló yẹ kó jẹ́ nǹkan tó lọ́gbọ́n lórí tí gbogbo wa la mọ̀ tán àwa adọ́láwọ̀ àwa èèyàn Áfíríkà pé ọ̀rọ̀ ẹrú ìtàn lọ lórí omi àti tó lọ lórí Sahara orí wa ní gbogbo ẹ̀ wà lé lórí. So tá a bá ní a fẹ́ gbé ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìjọba kalẹ̀ ó yẹ kí yẹn wà lọ́kàn wa wípé gbogbo ìyà tó ti jẹ wá for the past 500 years ó yẹ ká wò pé tá a bá máa gbéjọba kalẹ̀ ò kì í ṣe pé ká tún máa jẹ kẹ́nìkan máa jẹ ìgàba lórí ẹnì kejì ṣùgbọ́n the opposite ni the case tó ṣe jẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Lebensrom ìyẹn ni ó ń define nǹkan tí ìlú máa jẹ́ tẹ́ máa wá ẹnìkan tó máa fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ ẹnì kejì láti fi sọ pé bóun ṣe ní agbára tó nìyẹn ṣùgbọ́n lẹ́yìn gbogbo eléyìí àti gbogbo ìjà tó ń lọ àti gbogbo ẹ̀ a tún wá rí i pé àwọn ìjọba àgbáyé tó ń pè ní international community ó recognize Nàìjíríà wípé bó ṣe wà yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe yẹ kó wà nítorí pé Nàìjíríà ní constitution wọ́n ń ṣe election wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn yànyàn sípò wọ́n ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ so ìjọba àgbáyé àti UNO àti gbogbo wọ́n gbà pé ọ̀rọ̀ legitimacy tá a sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn pé wọ́n gbà nítorí pé Nàìjíríà ní procedure yẹn ó ní òfin yẹn ó ní gbogbo ẹ̀ táwọn fi define ẹ̀ pé òkè eléyìí ó wà legitimate so àwa ní tí àwa Yorùbá bá fẹ́ gbára wa kalẹ̀ wípé à ń polongo ẹ̀ nìkan kò ní gbà wá lẹ̀ a lè fẹnu sọ a lè ṣe opinion poll a lè ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ tí a bá gbé kalẹ̀ wípé àwọn Yorùbá ti fọwọ́ sí òfin àwọn by òfin o àwọn Yorùbá ti fọwọ́ sí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí pé nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe lélẹ́yìí kò síbi tá a máa gbé gbà kò sẹ́ni tí ò lè ṣe opinion poll tó dẹ̀ máa arrive at any.
ẹ dákun because of the time. Because of the time, we need our méjì. We've only got 45 minutes more.
Yes.
We need our other members láti sọ̀rọ̀.
Yes. Mo ń summarize ẹ̀ náà ni, but mo láti máa connect ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. So, ipe just pé a kàn declare ẹ̀ àbí à ń ṣe kínní, ìyẹn kọ́ ló máa mú jáde. So, a tún wá wò pé lórí gbogbo ẹ̀, ọ̀nà mẹ́ta pàtàkì ni a rí táwa Yorùbá ti fẹ́ resolve problem yẹn. Ọ̀nà kínní ni pé ká lọ máa dìbò. A fẹ́ ṣe president, a fẹ́ ṣe governor, a fẹ́ ṣe gbá, a fẹ́ ṣàwo. Ṣùgbọ́n a ti rí ibi tí gbogbo ẹ̀ máa ń já sí, especially fáwa Yorùbá. A ti ní Yorùbá ní president, Ọ̀gá Ọbásanjọ́ gbogbo wọn ti wà ń bẹ̀. A ti rí gbogbo ìtọ́dẹ̀ wà ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. A ti rí bọ́n ṣe dá gbogbo ẹ̀rú àti bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ń dàrú. Even nígbà tí wọ́n ní ẹ jẹ́ ká tún wà lọ under abẹ́ ìjọba kan náà Yorùbá wa Ọbásanjọ́ náà ló dá gbogbo ẹ̀rú tí gbogbo ẹ̀ di bó ṣe di. Ọ̀nà kejì ni pé a lè ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ dàgbàsókè láì change Nàìjíríà pé ṣe bí a yan àwọn governors síbẹ̀ ni ó dẹ̀ lówó tó ń gbà ó ní iye tó ń fún wọn ó yẹ kán lè ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ìdàgbàsókè wa. Àwa rí pé ìyẹn gan ò lè wọlé nítorí pé owó tó ń gbà gan àwọn tó ń fún wọn lówó ti mọ nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe òun làwọn èèyàn pariwo nísìnyí pé even ordinary Lagos Ìbàdàn express road látọdún yìí tó ti wà níbẹ̀ tó ti bàjẹ́ wọn lè ṣe gbogbo ìtọ́ ń ṣe nílùú wọn àti gbogbo ẹ̀ kò ọdọọdún tó bá fẹ́ dìbò lẹ́ni tó máa lóun fẹ́ di gọ́vnà máa ṣe dáadáa ju ti ẹni tó wà níbẹ̀ lọ àtẹ̀kí ń rí nǹkan kan tó ti di ẹ̀ jáde. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta ni ọ̀rọ̀ self defence pé táwọn Fúlàní bá ti ṣe báyìí a máa gbógun tì wọ́n táwọn Ìgbò bá ti ṣe báyìí a máa gbógun tì wọ́n. Meanwhile àwa èèyàn la máa ṣe yẹn. Ìjọba tó ní agbára ogun àti gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ á dákẹ́ á máa wòran àwa máa wo ibi tó máa fi sí ipe tẹ́lẹ̀ ìbáyọ̀ báyọ̀ nǹkan tó máa ṣe àdójújà. So lẹ́yìn gbogbo àwọn yẹn la fi wá sọ pé ó dìgbà tí àwa Yorùbá tá a bá jókòó tá a fi ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn múlẹ̀ n ta ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ legitimacy nìyẹn. So kí ni ọ̀rọ̀ referendum yìí báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ ọ̀nà tá a mú làwa sọ pé àwa Yorùbá ní a kì í fa orí olórí lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ a kì í fa orí èèyàn lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ tó lórí yẹn. So gbogbo experience wa ní Nàìjíríà láti 1960 at least ká tẹ̀ pé ní 1999 wọ́n ń fa orí wa lẹ́yìn wa ni. So ìyẹn la máa kọ́kọ́ yọ kúrò ńbẹ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìjàgbara whichever way tá a bá define ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ is a political question. Tá bá ní political question, kì í ṣe pé à ń sọ pé ẹ lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ yìí àbí má darapọ̀ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ yìí. The whole concept of state, ipò ẹ fẹ́ dàlú lẹ̀, ẹ fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan ìlú, is a political question tí ò ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú nígbà tẹ́ bá dálẹ̀ tán tọkàn yín ti balẹ̀, ẹ lè máa wá ní kẹgbẹ́ wà ń bẹ̀, irú ẹgbẹ́ báyìí lẹ fẹ́, ẹ fẹ́ irú ẹgbẹ́ báyìí, ẹ fẹ́ irú ẹgbẹ́ báyìí, olúkálùkù á lọ máa ṣe tiẹ̀. So lẹ́yìn yẹn, ìyẹn ló máa wá jẹ́ ká ra ìfún pé ọ̀rọ̀ legitimacy yẹn, ìyẹn ni ìdí tí tabadẹ adẹ ti kọ bill kan jáde tá a pè ní bill for a referendum. Nínú bill yẹn, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ àti tá à ń sọ yìí àti gbogbo ẹ̀ ó ti wà ń bẹ̀ wípé bá a ṣe máa resolve ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, nítorí nínú ẹ̀ láti sọ pé òkè tá a bá tẹ̀ fẹ́ Nàìjíríà o, bá a ṣe fẹ́ kó rí nì, kí la dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó wà ń bẹ̀, wípé kí ìjọba àpapọ̀ kì í ṣe bó ṣe wà nísìn, kólúkálùkù yan èèyàn tiẹ̀, kólúkálùkù yan èèyàn tiẹ̀, kó dẹ̀ tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe ìjọba lápapọ̀, àwa la máa yan èèyàn tiwa lọ sọ́hùn, tá a bá fẹ́ yọ kúrò, àwa la máa yọ kúrò látọ̀hún. So ìyẹn wà ń bẹ̀. Then gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ constitution tí wọ́n náà ń ṣe, wọ́n fẹ́ review. Ọmọ Agége tó jẹ́ deputy senate president, ó tẹ̀ sí sọ pé àwọn ò lágbára láti ṣe, ipe káwọn kan amend ẹ ni. So àwa tí wọ́n ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara wa pé àwa Yorùbá tá a sọ pé a ní àwọn ìwà àti àṣà àti gbogbo èyí, báwo ló ṣe máa jẹ́ pé àwọn kan láti Sokoto àbí láti Enugu náà máa wá máa sọ fún wa bóyá ká la ọ̀nà yẹn àbí ká má la ọ̀nà yẹn, ọwọ́ wa ló yẹ kí yẹn wà. Ká dẹ̀ so ibi tọ́rọ̀ referendum ti wá ṣe kínní nìyẹn. Kí má gbàsìkò lọ, kí wá ní báwo la ṣe fẹ́ mú ṣe, kó má dàbẹ̀ ni pé mò ń waste time lọ títí. Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ mú ṣe? Pé n tó sọ yẹn, àwọn Yorùbá tó wà ní Kwara àti Kogi náà, àwọn náà ti ń sọ pé kán jẹ́ káwọn ṣe referendum bóyá àwọn fẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, torí nǹkan tí wọ́n ti ṣe ní 1957 ni tí àwọn Amadu Bello jẹ́ kán ṣe. So ọ̀nà wo la fẹ́ gbé gbà? Àwa sọ pé options méjì la ní, ipe àwọn political leaders wa, whichever party tán bá ní, wọ́n ní ipa tán máa kó nú ẹ̀, meaning ni pé referendum yẹn must be held before 2023 elections. Tí wọn ò bá dẹ̀ ṣe, tí wọn ò bá ṣe before 2023 elections, ọwọ́ wa ni ìtókù máa wà. Ń tà ṣe ni wọ́n láti ṣe before 2023 election ni pé bíìlì yẹn ti wà ńlẹ̀, kán yọwọ́ lé lórí. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo tó dẹ̀ ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tá à ń rí Nàìjíríà, a ní kán establish pẹ̀lú òfin náà ń tà pè ní Yoruba Global Commission. Yoruba Global Commission yẹn ló máa ṣe bí representative àwa ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lágbàáyé àti gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe, tó yẹ pé àwa la máa sọ̀rọ̀ jáde, kò ní jẹ́ pé olúkálùkù kàn lọ ṣe nǹkan tó hùn, torí pé òfin wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ó ti dè mọ́lẹ̀. Then referendum bill tó ti wà ńlẹ̀, kán pass into law ní àwọn state wọn. Tán bá ti pass into law, wọ́n á dẹ̀ conduct referendum yẹn ní time tó yẹ kán conduct ẹ̀. Ọ̀nà kìíní nìyẹn. Tí wọn ò bá wá ṣe, tán bá láwọn ò ṣe for whatever reason, àwa wá sọ pé Yorùbá Global Commission yẹn o, àwa máa dálẹ̀ láàyè ara tiwa. Tá a bá dálẹ̀, nǹkan bí ohun tó máa ti di ẹyọ ni wípé àwa gbé kí ṣọ̀rọ̀ já ọmọ kan máa lo ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ni. Àwọn olórí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá la máa wá gbógun tì lágbàáyé, tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ìta ń sọ yìí, Nàìjíríà kọ́ ni problem wa mọ́. Àwọn political leaders wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ló máa jẹ́ problem wa, àwọn la dẹ̀ máa gbógun tì. Bó jẹ́ láti ta láti ṣe o, bó jẹ́ láti ilé láti ṣe o, àwọn la máa gbógun tì, débi tó jẹ́ pé a lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí agitate pé sanctions against wọn ní ibi tán bá ti ní interest sí ní abroad. Ọ̀rọ̀ petition tó ń sọ, a lè kọ petition against wọn gan pé ẹ wo àwọn tó ń ṣe kinní tí wọn ò fẹ́ nǹkan táwọn èèyàn sọ o, wípé ibi tá a fẹ́ lọ léléyìí àbí nǹkan, àá dá Global Commission yẹn lẹ̀ láàrin wa. A dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé tá a bá ti ṣe yẹn, ìjọba Nàìjíríà àbí ìjọba àwọn ilẹ̀ Yorùbá gan sọ pé àwọn ilé wọn fẹ́ da nǹkan rú fáwọn ni wọ́n á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó yẹ kán gbé láti àwa náà bá a dẹ̀ ṣe ń dálẹ̀ a ti mọ̀ pé irú nǹkan tá a máa fèsì nìyẹn a dẹ̀ ti prepare ara wa fún irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn pé ohun tó bá máa tìdí ẹ̀ jáde
I'm going to stop you. I really have to now, Joe. Mo fẹ́ káwọn méjì yẹn náà sọ̀rọ̀ díẹ̀. Alàgbà Yorokun, ṣé ẹ rí n tẹ́ fẹ́ sọ lé? Torí pé tẹ́yìn ò bá ní much láti ṣe bóyá alàgbà Odede, you will still have time to speak. Mi ìfẹ́ kó má di pé ẹ̀yin ò ráyè sọ̀rọ̀.
Bóyá mo kàn máa sọ díẹ̀ so tí àsìkò bá dẹ̀ wà ẹ lè bá mi tarí ẹ̀ sí wọn mà.
I will.
Ẹ ṣeun. Mo kí gbogbo lé ní ẹ̀kan sí Yorùbá Referendum Committee púpọ̀ nínú àwọn èrò wa òun náà ni ẹni tó jẹ́ coordinator wa sọ. Ṣùgbọ́n ibi tí mo kàn fẹ́ sáré sọ ni pé kí ni a rò wípé ìsìn yìí ló yẹ ká ṣe referendum tàbí ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní push fún referendum rather than pé kí a dúró di 2023 àbí any other time. A nígbàgbọ́ wípé gbogbo ọmọ ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire ni wọ́n mọ̀ lónìí tí mo bá wà permitted láti lò pé gbogbo wa la mọ̀ lónìí pé Nigeria is not working for the Yoruba people. Mi ò sọ wípé bóyá Nàìjíríà ò ṣiṣẹ́ fún àwọn èèyàn kọ̀ọ̀kan tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n rí nǹkan gbà nínú system tó wà, ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá ní ṣe Nigerian system lónìí ṣé ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún ọmọ Yorùbá? Mo believe pé almost everybody ló máa sọ pé yes, kò ṣiṣẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n ní ibi tí a dé yìí ṣe mọ̀ pé àwọn Fúlàní wọ́n ń jẹ oko, wọ́n ń lọ káwọn èèyàn mọ́lé. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ọ̀dọ̀ wa kọ́ ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀? Ó ti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní àti north. Tí a dẹ̀ rí pé ẹni tí ó jẹ́ olórí wa nísìnyí kò dàbẹ́ ń kó dá sí ìgbà tó fi máa sọ̀rọ̀ ó kàn ní pé ẹ jọ máa gbé pẹ̀lú àlàáfíà pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ń pa wọ́n títí kìíní ẹ̀ fi rìn tó fi bọ́ sí middle belt tí ó fi wá dé ọ̀dọ̀ wa báyìí. Gbogbo ìgbà tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn kì í ṣe pé àmọ́ ìpó máa dé ọ̀dọ̀ wa, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní ó ń bọ̀ àwọn làǹdẹ̀ dé. Àsìkò tó yẹ kí àwa Yorùbá ká dẹ àwọn yẹn àdẹ́ ó ní ó fà wá síbi tí a dé lónìí. So èròǹgbà wa ni pé tí ibi tó wà ní ìsìn yìí tí a bá ṣe ohun tó yẹ ká ṣe báyìí kí ó má jẹ́ pé ó máa pẹ́ jù fún wa. Now ọ̀rọ̀ referendum bí wọ́n ṣe ṣàlàyé ṣe rí nínú constitution Nigeria tá a sì sọ pé kò ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe mọ̀ pé tó wà níbẹ̀ ni pé we the people tí gbogbo wa dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe we the people la kọ constitution 1999. It was by the military. A dẹ̀ wò pé ohun tí a lè fi counter nítorí pé ìgbésẹ̀ tí ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wa bá gbé ní ìsìn tó bá tako òfin ọwọ́ àwọn aráabí ni agbára wà. Tá a bá sì sọ pé ìjà àbógun la fẹ́ jà ọwọ́ wọn náà ni nǹkan ogun wà ní àsìkò yìí. So ọ̀nà tí a lè gbà like a strategy tó fi jẹ́ pé ibi tí wọ́n lè má ronú nípa máa gba ibẹ̀. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ nígbà tí mò ń béèrè ìbéèrè ní àkọ́kọ́ wípé àwọn nǹkan míì tá a bá tá a fà dé international community wọ́n sì máa dá wa padà ní pé ok ẹ lọ bá àwọn èèyàn yín sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ á ṣe referendum. Tá a bá dẹ̀ mẹ́pà lè ṣe fúnra wa àwa ń wò pé kò yẹ ká waste time àti energy àti resources láti go through àwọn ètò jẹ́ pé eventually wọ́n sì máa wá dá wa padà wá sọ́dọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa ni. Ó ní àwa fi sọ wípé referendum yìí ní ó máa replace the we because wọ́n á mọ̀ pé the Yoruba people their own we now is completely different from the we that is in the 1999 constitution. And secondly, once the legitimacy which tí wọ́n sọ àti máa mẹ́pà àti secure yẹn, tá a bá wá ti láwọn instrument yẹn lọ́wọ́, àwa lè fà á dé anywhere tí a máa fà dé.
Ẹ ṣé. I want to ṣe máa dá dúró bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn torí pé bóyá torí mi jó ṣèlú ni. Gbogbo tẹ̀ ń sọ mo farabalẹ̀ gbọ́ yín. First of all, we do not need any excuse to choose to opt out of Nigeria. Whether daran or daran sí o, we don't need all these excuses. Why? From day one, when the relationship between Yoruba and other states, other nations were negotiated, it was very clear. Pamadawa ni Sherry Oman ni Milaranga táwọn èèyàn bá ń fọ̀rọ̀ gùn. Bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ sọ fún wa láti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Only there are no Nigerians. No. He said there are nations. And that was the basis. See, Nigeria, if you were created, there are no Nigerians. And let me make it quite clear. Yes.
Òótọ́ ni nígbà tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ iná fi dá ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà sílẹ̀. But àwọn bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ náà ni wọ́n ṣe Western region. Wọ́n accept the constitution, Macpherson constitution in 1957.
Yes.
It is on that basis that ṣe ní Western region. Ìgbà tó dẹ̀ di after independence ó dìgbà Second Republic, wọ́n participate in UPN. Wọ́n ṣe election. So,
can I put the question to you? Yes. Are you saying that what we all know, which is what you were left with in Nigeria's Westminster parliamentary system? That's what you were left with. No. No. Okay. You just answer my question.
Go ahead.
You just tell me what Baba Awólọ́wọ̀ said, which was there are no Nigerians. When did that change? When did that change?
There is always
change.
Reason tí àwọn sọ ní 1945 ni pé there are no Nigerians in the sense of kìnnìkan pé semi geographical expression. Fine, no problem. That's the theoretical basis. Láti sọ pé tá bá tẹ̀ máa ṣe Nàìjíríà o. Ohun tó ṣe dá ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Odùduwà tí mo kà lẹ́ẹ̀kan lẹ̀ nìyẹn pé it must be on regional basis. So tá bá máa ṣe Nàìjíríà rárá, it must be on ethnical basis. Ó ní mo kà jáde lẹ́ẹ̀kan. So nígbà tí wọ́n ti fìyẹn lẹ̀, nígbà táwọn British wá fẹ́ ṣe election, wọ́n ṣe 1947 constitution, Richard's constitution. Ìyẹn ló lead sí 1951. Nígbà táwọn Macpherson fẹ́ ṣe constitution tiwọn, làwọn Awólọ́wọ̀ wá dìde láti sọ pé regional basis làwọn máa ṣe o. Wọ́n fi dá ẹgbẹ́ action group sílẹ̀. Náà ṣe win election. Náà ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Can I put a direct question to you?
Yes.
Are you saying that Baba Awólọ́wọ̀ system tó tí ẹ sọ pé ó change pé ó gbà pé Nigerians wà?
No, nǹkan tí mò ń sọ nìyẹn, jẹ́ kí n answer yín again. Nǹkan tí mò ń sọ nìyẹn.
Yes or no?
Ẹ dúró ná, wọ́n gbà pé Nàìjíríà wà. That's why tán ṣe election 1959. That's why tán ṣe election. Yes, that's why tán ṣe election 1951. Wọ́n ṣe election 1959. Wọ́n ṣe election 1979.
I'm talking about Nigerians.
Oh, ẹ máa gbọ́ òun náà là ń sọ yìí. Òun náà là ń sọ yìí. Àní ṣẹ́rí the theoretical basis ni pé bí wọ́n ṣe create Nàìjíríà o, kò sí èèyàn kankan tó ń jẹ́ Nigerian. But there is a Nigerian state. That is the government. There's a Nigerian state. Nigerian state. Ìyẹn làwọn ń pè ní post-colonial state. That is government kan wà tó so gbogbo àwọn tó wà ní ibi tó ń pè ní ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà pọ̀. Àwọn Yorùbá ni o, Fúlàní ni o, gbogbo wọn.
Thank you, that is clear. Thank you. No, I need to move on. this referendum, I still don't understand one thing. It's a good idea to have referendum. Good. This referendum, when will it start?
Oh no,
How will it start?
Dá ṣe pé ní Yorùbá referendum nìyẹn. Ibi tó ti máa start ni kí àwọn houses of assembly wa kan pass òfin yẹn. Ipe a fẹ́ ṣe referendum. Wọ́n á pass òfin yẹn. Governor á fi àṣẹ sí bọ́n ṣe máa ń ṣe. Ipe wọ́n fàṣẹ sí. Nígbà tó bá pass òfin yẹn tán, àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Ẹ dúró. Please, maybe because of my professional background, first thing is action plan. If referendum is going to, if referendum is going to take place, step one.
Step one is divided into two, A and B.
Please, 1A. 1A, keep it short. 1A.
1A is to get the houses of assembly to pass the bill.
Thank you.
Part of
1B. I don't need explanation about the bill.
The B part of it, we are connected to now mobilize our Yoruba people at home and abroad to put pressure on the House of Assembly to pass the bill and conduct the referendum. So immediately we are connected. That's the action plan. And that's why we are setting up the committee.
One, 1A and B. Focus.
Yes.
1A.
Yes.
Keep it short. I want people to take that message away. That is, go ahead. 1A.
Okay, 1A.
Keep it short.
Yes. 1A, no, last week to get the state houses of assembly to pass the bill for a referendum law. And it is send this one.
I don't want to know what you've done. That's the first task. Second task. Second task.
Okay, kí wọ́n pass the bill into law. Second task ni ká mobilize Yoruba opinion, Yoruba people to support the thing.
We have got there. Ibi tí mo fẹ́ ká wà nìyẹn. Lórí pé bàtà ṣe pàdé last time, we are looking at how to support this movement.
Yes.
What needs to happen? The idea of whether a fair referendum or not a fair referendum is not an issue. Last gathering, we have agreed. Tabati ní ọ̀nà báyìí ló yẹ kẹ́nìkan gbà ká tẹ̀lé wọn. Tabati ní ọ̀nà báyìí ló yẹ kẹ́nìkan gbà ká tẹ̀lé wọn. Petition kò ṣe tiẹ̀. Now, referendum now, basically, we need to mobilize people to enable a bill to exist.
Yes.
And it is that bill that you call legitimacy. Yes?
Yes.
Shame of that, right?
Yeah, the passage of the
bill get legitimacy.
Yes, nobody pass it to law. Yes.
Nobody get it.
Yes. Embreko.
Tabati get legitimacy. Next thing, the implementation. Abi?
Then.
Right. Unti mo fẹ́ ká fi sí àwọn èèyàn lórí nìyẹn. So, ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa nǹkan referendum yìí ó ṣe pàtàkì láti rìnrìn àjò. Àwọn tó ń ṣe constitutional force majeure wọ́n ń ṣe lọ ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà, they are following their own. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ sign kọ, everybody máa lọ sign ní ìwé tó ń gbé kalẹ̀. Ẹni petition tí Dr. Oni táwọn náà ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ ká máa sign ẹ̀ lọ. Referendum yìí Olódùmarè ti ṣe any referendum committee led by Alàgbà Fẹ́mi Ọdẹ́dèyí. Wọ́n ti ṣe a lot of work. Ibi tí wọ́n fẹ́ ká fọ̀rọ̀ yìí sí ni wípé ká jà ibi tí ìjàngbara wà ń sìn ni pé ká wá bá ṣe máa ṣe tí ó máa di wípé any bill that's passed to law. Let me now ask you the question. Ṣé state assemblies ní à ń sọ̀rọ̀ èyí àbí national assembly?
State assembly. Àwọn Yorùbá nìkan ló dẹ̀ lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti dìbò lórí ẹ̀. Ẹ ti ń bírèkì. Mi ò gbọ́ yín o. Ṣé ẹ lè tún ọ̀rọ̀ yín?
So the state The state assembly ń sìn ṣẹ́rí the state assembly ń sìn àwọn la gbọ́dọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí gbálẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kọ́ lè dá wa lóhùn àwọn state assembly Ọ̀yọ́ state ṣé mẹ́fà ni àbí mẹ́jọ torí Kwara àti Kogi ìta south west náà wà so àwọn wo la fẹ́ mójútó.
ok a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ láàrin àwa tí mẹ́fà yìí Lagos Ọ̀yọ́ Ògùn Ondo Èkìtì àti ṣópé mẹ́fà ìwó ní kẹfà náà àwa Lagos Ògùn Ọ̀yọ́ Ọ̀ṣun Ondo àti Èkìtì táwa àwa mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà yẹn tí ìyẹn máa ṣe ni wípé táwọn mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà yẹn bá ti gbà ó máa wá fún àwọn Yorùbá tó wà ní Kwara àti Kogi ní àtìlẹ́yìn káwọn náà sọ fún assembly wọn pé àwọn fẹ́ ṣe irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn àti gbogbo nǹkan tó bá fẹ́ ṣe á fún wọn látìlẹ́yìn.
ẹ jẹ́ ká dúró báyìí ẹ jọ ṣe rí èmi mò ń wo kí ló máa ṣe tí a bá fẹ́ gẹ̀tì bill passed to law ní Ogun State nsìn ṣé àwọn who belong sí Ogun State nìkan ni wọ́n máa lọ bá àwọn House of Assembly wọn àbí the referendum committee ṣé wọ́n dá wọn lóhùn tó mò ń wò ó ní bóyá ní Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ni pé tí èèyàn kan bá ń gbé Lambeth tí ìṣòro bá wà ní Lambeth àwọn Lambeth ló lè rí àkàn ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ so ṣé ètò mò ń wo bí tá a ti máa kó àwọn èèyàn tá a máa mobilize àwọn èèyàn láti ọ̀nà olùwọ́ ni mo ṣe ń wò bẹ́ẹ̀ pé tá a bá fẹ́ kí referendum yìí kí ó become law àwọn indigenes Ogun State wọ́n lọ dojúkọ Ogun State àwọn indigenes Lagos State wọ́n lọ dojúkọ Lagos State báwo la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe ohun tí mo fẹ́ mọ̀ nìyẹn ṣé bó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn.
bó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn gbogbo wa wá mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá ní gbogbo ẹ̀ wípé nǹkan kan náà ni gbogbo wa ń béèrè fún generally but each one á wá dojúkọ state tiẹ̀ pé ẹ ṣe báyìí ẹ ṣe báyìí ẹ ṣe báyìí àdè máa tún sọ generally pé gbogbo wọn láti ṣe bó jẹ́ pé a máa ṣèpàdé lórí ẹ̀ whatever it is tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe a máa ṣe lórí ẹ̀ but àwọn tó ń pè ní constituency wọn àwọn tó wà ní state wọn náà máa kọ́kọ́ gbé kinní yẹn lọ sí ibẹ̀.
ẹ ṣe so ibi tí Yorùbá referendum committee iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n tẹ̀yìn jẹ́ coordinator òun ni kí ẹ ṣe kò kárí bí gbogbo yẹn ṣe máa wáyé àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mà.
so ẹ̀yin olùgbọ́ mi ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń wò wá nílé ó dàbẹ̀ pé ibi tí a fẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí wà kó lè yé wa àwa kan èdè ọ̀rọ̀ yìí tó bá lọ́jù kò lè yé wa. Àwọn Yorùbá Referendum Committee wà ní iṣẹ́ ìtìpẹ́tìpẹ́ ẹ ti ṣe ìwádìí tó péye wọ́n mọ àwọn ìṣòro wa wọ́n mọ tọ̀tún wọ́n mọ tòsì wọ́n mọ èyí tó ti lọ wọ́n mọ ìṣòro tó lè tún dojú kọ wá lọ́jọ́ àdìde ká ṣiṣẹ́ ń sìn ń tán sọ ní wípé referendum yìí ó ṣe pàtàkì pé ká ṣe é tá a bá máa ṣe o ká tiẹ̀ tó lè ṣe kí a lè rí agbára òfin tó jẹ́ kí ó fi ìdí múlẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá wà ní Ogun State tẹ́jọ́ mọ́ Ogun State tẹ́jọ́ mọ́ Ọ̀ṣun State tẹ́jọ́ mọ́ Èkìtì State tẹ́jọ́ mọ́ Ondo State àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwọn yẹn ní a máa mobilize tí wọ́n máa lè ṣiṣẹ́ pé kán bá àwọn tí ó ṣàṣojú wọn ní ìgbìmọ̀ tí ń ṣàṣojú àwọn èèyàn wọ́n á lè bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n á lè ṣe òfin tí ó máa gbà wá láyè láti lè ṣe ìbéèrè àwọn ìbéèrè tí a máa fi sọ wípé báyìí àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ alàgbọ́dẹ́dẹ́ once they have agreed it then there will be questions then of course people will go around láti máa lọ bèrè pé ṣé o fara mọ́ òmìnira tábà tiẹ̀ máa lọ bá àwọn sọ́ngbà yẹn sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ tí wọ́n ń ṣàṣọ wọ́n ti fọwọ́ sí o, wọ́n ti fún wa ní ẹ̀yẹ́ tí àkódà ó yé mi yékéyéké báyìí sìn, ó yé mi yékéyéké. Ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ ẹ́ sì ṣó yé yín dáadáa? Olódùmarè ṣeun. So ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé pé bọ́rọ̀ náà ṣe rí nìyẹn. Ṣé ó dùn mí pé àwọn alàgbàrà máa nà àrójútùú kan sọ̀rọ̀? Ẹ tún bá mi pè wọ́n, bóyá wọ́n á lè sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ bá bẹ̀ wọ́n.
mo ti ń fi kinní ránṣẹ́ sí i látẹ̀kọ́ pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Mi ò bóyá ó láìpẹ́ ìjọ́rọ̀ nẹ́tíwọ̀kì ẹni.
Ẹ mọ̀ tá a lè ṣe, ẹ mọ̀ tá a lè ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ kó pe fóònù yín àbẹ́yìn ni kẹ́ ẹ pè wọ́n, bóyá tẹ bá gbé síbi a máa gbọ́ ń tán sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká try ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí n try ẹ̀ wò tí n bá go off but máa try ẹ̀.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká sì dúró bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Whilst that is going on, let me go into the Zoom area. Are there any comments? We've had the opportunity to do 3 things. 1, we've had a presentation about opinion poll. Àti rí ẹnìkan tó là wá lóye nípa ohun tí èbó ń pè ní ìfọ̀rọ̀wọ́rọ̀ láti lè ní ìtẹ̀síwájú. Opinion poll. Àti rí Dr. Onítànbá sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ̀. Wọ́n ṣàlàyé lọ́tùn lósì. A tún ti gbé ìgbésẹ̀ pé tó àpéjọ àpérò àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tá a lè pè ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tán dàgbà nípa ọjọ́ orí tí wọ́n ti wà ní tí wọ́n ń ṣe ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá. A dẹ̀ ti fi ọ̀rọ̀ wọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu wọn, àwọn tí ò dáa ni mo ní kan sọ, ìbéèrè tó dáa, torí pé ohun tí ò dáa yẹn ni Yorùbá máa ń ró máa ṣọ. A lè máa ró máa ṣọ mọ́, àti tú kalẹ̀ lónìí. Èyí ò lè máa ró irọ́ mọ́ ṣọ, kò lè máa ró ohun tí ò dáa máa ṣọ, kò sí ní tó jọ, ó di dandan. Ibi tá a wá bá dé yẹn, ó dàbí ẹ pé ẹnìkan wọn náwó Ọláwàyí. Ó yá, ẹ introduce ara yín kẹ́ ẹ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ ní ṣókí. Ẹni tó náwó alàgbà Ọláwàyí. Hello, alàgbà Ọláwàyí, are you there? Mo ti lówó ọwọ́ yín o. Ẹ unmute ara yín. Do unmute yourself, please. Alàgbà Ọláwàyí, do unmute yourself, please. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n bò wọ́n bóyá mo lè ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ láti bí. Okay, alàgbà Ọláwàyí. Alàgbà Ọláwàyí, you are mo ti unmute yín o, please unmute yourself. Oda, whilst you are waiting for him or her, I don't know. Anybody else who wants to share thoughts?
Hello.
Ẹ tẹ̀síwájú.
Hello.
À ń gbọ́ yín o, ẹ tẹ̀síwájú.
Okay, ẹ ṣeun. Mo gbọ́ the presentation tí last speaker make nípa pé kí ká send this bill sí the Yoruba houses láti get nìkan kan vote fún pé a fẹ́ referendum, which is quite similar nígbà tí wọ́n vote pé kí bàbá the late Yoruba leader, the late Chief Abraham Adesanya, tó ń lọ sí each of the House Assembly tó wà ní Yoruba land láti sọ pé a fẹ́ national conference. He sat there, kì í ṣe pé tán bá vote tán wọ́n máa gbọ́. He sat there, present there, nígbà tí wọ́n tán ṣe vote yẹn ní each of the houses. However, this idea of sending the bills to a house to some extent could likely be our effective tí o bá sí much pressure lọ́dọ̀ wọn pé kán rí àwọn core Yoruba groups kọ́kọ́ come out kán sọ pé wọ́n support the idea of referendum. Ìwọ ni Afẹ́nifẹ́re, ìwọ ni ìlànà Yorùbá and others bẹ́ẹ̀ kí each of those groups kan pass a resolution ní group wọn pé wọ́n support ẹ̀. So ìyẹn put more pressure lórí àwọn ti assembly. Then irú gbogbo wàhálà tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ìgbòho and other places nísìn á jẹ́ kí more of the masses go get involved, because with election coming or knowing our politicians for who what they are, the mere sending it there kò ní jẹ́ a good reason. One need that level of patriotism and the fear of the center kò ní jẹ́ kí wọ́n lè ṣe, because I happens to know the reason tí Baba Abraham Adesanya ń gbà yẹn tán fi lọ tán lọ play role yẹn. I remember an incident where nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀, then I call Chief Anthony Enaro pé báyìí ni ọ̀rẹ́ yín Baba Adesanya ń ṣe o. No, Baba Ọmọjọlá mo kọ́kọ́ sọ fún and Dr. Yemi Adegoke, àwọn méjì yẹn mo kọ́kọ́ sọ fún. Wọ́n wá ní kí n lọ mo wá sí Nàìjíríà, wọ́n ní kí n jẹ́ lọ sí ilé Baba Adesanya ní Àpápá kí n lọ advice wọn on the issue. Èmi ní no, kò ní wà as effective. Wọ́n á ṣe oúnjẹ fún mi, wọ́n á ní give me a paper, but kò ní wà effective. Instead, I went through Chief Anthony Enaro. Mo ní báyìí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin o. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ pé wọ́n kẹ́ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀. Which he did. Then he gave me a feedback. Wọ́n ní wọ́n pè wọ́n pé wọ́n ní meeting lé wọn pé lẹ́ò Abraham pé ṣé o gbọ́ nǹkan táwọn Yorùbá ń sọ nípa Awólọ́wọ̀? Ó sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, pé kí ló fẹ́ kán sọ nípa tiẹ̀ o, torí pé ní kúsáyé o, ìgbà tá a bá wá lọ kí ló fẹ́ kí àwọn Yorùbá máa sọ ń pa ẹ̀? Ló wá sọ pé Tony, kí ni nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀? Wọ́n ní báyìí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ o, báyìí ni perception àwọn èèyàn. So wọ́n ní okay Tony, kí ló fẹ́ kí n ṣe yẹn? Wọ́n ní pé lọ sí each of the houses kó jókòó síbẹ̀, kan ṣe referendum, kan vote. So bí ìyẹn ṣe possible nìyẹn, kì í kàn ṣe pé ó rí àwọn fúnra wọn ló wà patriotic enough.
Alàgbà ọmọ méjì ṣé ibi tẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ dé yẹn ń táwa pè ní action plan. Ìdí tá a fi pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti wà nú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tí wọ́n dàgbà nìyẹn. Ohun tí àwọn alàgbà Dédé yìí sọ, that's one possibility. Èyí tí ẹ̀yin náà ti kópa nú ẹ̀rí tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ọ̀tún ire òsì ire, torí tòtútòsì ńlẹ̀yẹ fi ń kó ire wọlé. Èyí táwọn gbé kalẹ̀ tán ní ká gbìyànjú ká wò bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ṣé rí tèmi wò ní wípé tó dájú ni pé referendum yìí, Yorùbá referendum yìí ó ṣe pàtàkì. Kódà mo rántí nígbà tí wọ́n lọ sí Ethnic Nationalities Conference, there something similar báyìí náà wà nínú tó agree. Mo ní ìgbà document tí mo ní lọ́wọ́ ni pé tí àwọn Yorùbá state bá fẹ́ sopọ̀, tán bá fẹ́ ní policy tí wọ́n á ṣe referendum láàrin ara wọn, tán bá dẹ̀ ti ṣe tí enough support bá ti wà, wọ́n á sopọ̀. Mo sì rántí yẹn. So
ó dòfin nìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
So ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé báyìí. Lónìí yìí a ti gbàlejò àwọn Yorùbá referendum committee, àwọn 3 ni wọ́n wà. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣàlàyé fún wa pé àwọn tó gbangba sùn lọ́yẹ́, àwọn ti wà ń di iṣẹ́ yìí, àwọn ti ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun lórí ẹ̀. Ìdí táwọn fi ṣe rèé, ìṣòro tó ń dojúkọ ọ̀tá wa rèé, ó dẹ̀ máa tán ìṣòro. Gbogbo ẹ̀ tá a bá fẹ́ mú ṣe ó di dandan ká lọ bá àwọn ìgbìmọ̀, ṣé ìgbìmọ̀ alábẹ́sẹ́kẹ́lé là ń pè wọ́n, a ṣáà máa lọ ọbẹ̀ ibi tán kóra wọn jọ sí House of Assembly, a lọ bá wọn bẹ̀. Torí àwọn gangan ló yẹ kí àwọn ní ilé aṣòfin ti ní ìsàlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn gan ni wọ́n súnmọ́ grassroots, àná súnmọ́ àwọn èèyàn tí mo rò wípé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn láti yé wọn sí l'Ábùjá. So a láti lọ bá wọn, àwọn ìlà gbọ́dọ̀ lọ bá. ṣé ká kàn lọ bá wọn ká kọ̀wé sí wọn ní èyí tí alàgbà Akínọlá mú wá pé kódà ó lè jẹ́ pé a máa lọ tẹ́ní síbẹ̀ tá a máa sùn síbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wọn nígbà tó bá ń wà la máa jáde tó bá dẹ̀ ń wá ní kúrò ń bẹ̀ tó máa fi ṣe kíni tó máa fi sáìnì ìwé tá a fẹ́ kí wọ́n sáìn mínì pé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kan láti wà tá a máa gbé so at least a ti mọ̀ ń sìn pé tí referendum yìí bá máa wáyé o a láti jẹ́ kí ó kárí òfin tó fi ìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ ká tó lè ṣé bí mo ṣe rí yẹn bó ṣe rí nìyẹn mo mọ̀ wípé tí ò bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ nígbà tá a bá máa palẹ̀mọ́ gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí máa fún alàgbà Ọdẹ́dẹ̀ yìí ní ìṣẹ́jú 5 máa fún alàgbà Yéròkù ní ìṣẹ́jú 5 mo rò pé alàgbà Ọdẹ́dẹ̀ yìí wọ́n ṣì ń gbogbo bóyá wọ́n ti lè rí tẹlifóònù tí wọ́n lè fóònù comrade Rahman kí wọ́n tiẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ ìṣẹ́jú 5 fún wa ó dùn mí pé network kò jẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn lè wáyé but meanwhile ẹ jẹ́ kí n go through the agodo ibi ìjíròrò yìí kí n pe àwọn èèyàn kan méjì pé àárín táwọn náà fẹ́ sọ ní pápápá ẹ jẹ́ kí n wo àwọn tí bá pè yí tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ó ti dá o mo rí aunty Florence wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀ alàgbà kan Adéṣeyẹ Adégbóyèga mo rí Technospark 4 mo dẹ̀ rí Ọládòṣù at least mo rá àwọn wọ̀nyẹn now tàlárí tí wọ́n fẹ́ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ ìṣẹ́jú méjì aunty Florence ǹjẹ́ àrọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ fẹ́ bá wa sọ rárá.
mo wà pẹ̀lú yín ẹ máa bá a ṣe lọ mà.
ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ alàgbà Adégbóyèga àárín tẹ́yìn náà fẹ́ bá wa sọ. alàgbà Adégbóyèga ṣe àárín tẹ́ fẹ́ sọ mo rí pé ẹnìkan tó ń jẹ́ Ọláwàyí wọ́n ti wọlé padà Ọláwàyí anything to say.
mo wà pẹ̀lú yín mà gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ sọ ọdún mo ṣe come up online ni but gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ sọ náà mo ń follow but as time goes on I get more information so I can be able to put my own input out so you can go ahead ma thank you ma.
ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ anybody else tàrí tó fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ anyone else mi ò rí
the series the leader is the first goal.
ó dàbí pé ẹnìkan wà ní ẹ dákun mo bẹ̀bẹ̀ ní o once tẹ́ bá ti wà pẹ̀lú wa please ẹ ṣé thank you what about Technospark 4 lights Technopark fóònù ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ o ta ló ní fóònù náà.
mi ò lẹ́ni tí mà èmi ni mà ọmọ yín ni mà.
ẹ ṣé tó oníyanṣe ọlọ́kàṣe ẹ̀ka tó tẹ̀síwájú ẹ jẹ́ kí n pe alàgbà Frank Bello. Frank Bello, over to you for the usual appraisal.
Okay, and indeed, I am going to carry out the appraisal. Now, I have loads of comments from the viewers across the world, mixed reactions. Some people, I think the one that really captivated me, let me start with that before I go into this appraisal, because it seems a lot of people, many of you, because you are not watching the stream, the live stream, so I'm able to monitor what's going on, what's going out, and what's coming in terms of reaction. Now, I think Ade Cripsy, one of my avid viewers, is not particularly happy about the method to which want to approach this referendum, because according to Ade Cripsy, who is really angry, stated that the state assembly in Yoruba land are the place that the issue of that referendum is nonsense, and that these people will collect bullion vans, money in bullion vans, and as such, that referendum is dead. So that was his own observation, and I think somewhere at the top here, I think I spotted another of my very avid viewer. I think Engineer Adamolekun equally posted. I'm trying to find this. I found it, and I'll post it on the live stream. Engineer Adebayo Adamolekun, I know he's watching the stream all the way from Ireland, and he said no single bill for referendum will ever pass in the State House of Assembly, Lagos and other Yoruba states. The legislator are part of the fraudulent Nigeria. And that statement is, I've been beaming that statement for some time. Now, appraisal. One thing is very obvious here. I think I'll bring myself on full screen and I'll put that, stream on the side. Now, some time ago, Irelu, I asked 3 of the members of the Yoruba World Congress UK and Europe at the time, when I staged an interview with them just before the collapse of Yoruba World Congress in Nigeria. And I asked Tajuddin Rahim and Adekunle Oluwalano, then Pastor Okebion Kosi, because those 3, I believe, were responsible for the running of the Yoruba World Congress in UK, in Europe, because before everything scattered, I knew everything would scatter anyway. So I threw them one tough question, and I said, the Yorubas, are we a difficult race to manage? They weren't prepared for that. And the entire presentation today has demonstrated that indeed the Yorubas are a very, very difficult race to manage. Now, we are difficult to manage, Irelu, because, I'll break it down. There was collaboration that came out of this meeting today, and I deliberately pounced on that word, collaboration. Now, I want to explore collaboration in a very short details. What does collaboration entails? Obviously, collaboration will tell us that we need to work together as member of a team that will achieve a desired result. And that result could be a goal. In our own case, our goal is to achieve amicably the Yoruba nation without the need for head-on confrontation, but through negotiations and dialogue. Now, why do we need to work as part of a team, which obviously involved we collaborating with ourselves? What are the basic recipe that we need? One basic recipe that we need to work together collectively as that formidable team is, number one, what you started with. The very first show this year, to which Professor Banji Akitoye said the Yorubas are not truthful to themselves. And where there is no trust, there is no love. And where there is no love, it is very doubtful if we can work as a team in order to form that formidable force to hijack the Yoruba nation from the hands of the oppressors. Now, the next thing that came up was transparency. Transparency, constitution. Many of these agitators, the different groups, you and I know, that are agitating for the Yoruba nation are not inside that agitation for the agitation's sake and for us to work as in for us to work in collaboration with ourselves so that we become one voice. Now, there was no transparency. Somebody was talking about conduct. So where is the code of conduct from all these organizations, all these different groups? Yoruba Summit Group, have they got their own constitution? Why are they not providing people with their own constitution that will spell out their own agenda for the Yoruba nation? The Yoruba World Congress, have they got their own constitution that will spell out their aims and objectives on how they hope to achieve that Yoruba nation? The newly formed Yoruba World Assembly that's been handled and it's been run by just one single man in the United Kingdom. What are their aims and objectives? Have they got constitution? What is the code of conduct of every of the agitators? What about their members? If you need to discipline one member, perhaps who must have gone on the other side to team up with the likes of the politicians that I will describe as being rogues, we know them, just for them to collect money, because all these different, you and I know, many of these agitators very soon, they are already stamping everybody with 2023. And if we cannot, I repeat, if many of these agitators and many of those that think the referendum that will be tabled to politicians in the Southwest, there are different state houses of assembly, it's not going to work because all of them, according to engineer Adamolekun, are all part of the corrupt, rotten system in that location 9. Now, trust and love, because all the Afeniferis and all the pan-Yoruba groups, they don't love themselves. Already, I would be surprised if the likes of the leader of the Afenifere, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, will now start clamoring for the emergence of a Bola Tinubu presidency or a Yoruba presidency for 2023. I'm not ashamed to name all these people because the same Chief Ayo Adebanjo came up on a social media and then told Nigerians that during the first lockdown, Bola Tinubu sent him a Malu as a palliative. And I said, Baba, and you collected this Malu from a corrupt politician and then just for you to feed yourself, why can't you just tell Bola Tinubu, please, thank you, take your cow back and call all the members in Afenifere to get you your own cow if you want to give palliatives as meat to people on your street. But that was not the case. So I won't be surprised, Erelu, in a nutshell. I'm sorry to have to inform inform you about this issue of referendum. Most of the Yoruba, genuine Yoruba agitators are not prepared to work with those rotten politicians in that country. And on this note, I'm conscious of time. I'll hand over the mic. I think, before I go, I think others, there are other comments that's coming in. Hardy Crispy, yes, yes, he's giving thumb up. Some are not happy. Yes, Ade Cripsy again said, look at us. I'll post his comment in case many of you on this show would like to watch the stream later on. Said, look at us all, externally displaced Yorubas with an angry face. And again, he was referring to the bullion is unregrettable. Now, most of them are not, most of my avid viewers are not happy. So I'll hand over back to you, Erelu, to carry on. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Let me speak English. This gathering had 3 goals. One, it was to invite experienced members of the older Yoruba organizations to come out and reconnect, because many of us have seen the newer organizations and what is going on. So I invited members of these ancient organizations to come and turn their wounds to wisdom. And I mean it. So if you've experienced pain by me laying it down clearly that I don't want to hear good news, I wanted to hear the bad news so that we can feel the pains. Because far too often, and I want to thank you, Frank Bello, for making reference to the diasporans. My question is, are the diasporans free of these practices whereby organizations don't know what the hell they're all about? I had a program on the 21st, Nigerian Social Responsibilities Fund, and I had young youth. One of them said he had to sell his home for 45 million naira to support President Buhari. I was sitting there thinking, what's the conscience that to have expected, if allegation, expected to spend your money to be able to mobilize. I use that as an inroad. And recently I had a correspondence from someone following that program. He said, Erelu, please tell people in diaspora not to send money back home. They are ruining our agitation. Let them keep their money. We don't need their money. They are ruining. You know, Oludumare is so great. I have had a privilege of speaking to 2 of those who actually engineered NSAS, and how disappointed they are now. That it seems to have come to naught, but that's not true. At least it brought to focus a need to review. Again, conduct. I'm going back to this issue of conduct. The conduct when our people, old, young, women, female, once they meet a commissioner for whatever it is, the next thing, when their daughter is pregnant and the husband cannot pay the bills, they go there to beg the commissioner for money. If the father has died, they go there. I've never come across people who their relationship is always got to depend on whoever they meet. They are looking for money, 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 money. They don't, I have to say this, they don't turn to their own family anymore. Anybody on social media is actually, you know, we are not as monjuries. Àwọn èèyàn wa ti di oníbàárà. Oníbàárà àwọn mẹ́tọ́ máa béèrè nǹkan lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, any fool. Anybody tó bá ti wọ́n máa tọrọ owó, wọ́n máa tọrọ owó. Why am I using that as an example? It's the same thing. Pẹ̀lú àwọn organization yìí wọ́n ti jókòó ṣẹ́, wọ́n máa ní kó lọ compile list yẹn tó máa lọ tọrọ owó lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Wọ́n máa lọ tọrọ owó. And owó yìí, ṣé yẹn ló wà ń brain ni wọ́n jọ tán kóra wọn jọ ní? They don't have organizational development plan. Wọ́n ti any constitution wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ ohun tán fẹ́ ṣe. I'm very, very sorry if you found this very painful. I'm very sorry, but let me say from 1978 that I can recall, many Yoruba organizations, we've got to change our behavior. Organizations, we are supposed to be business-like. Lọ ṣe bímbẹ̀. Mo ti lọ ṣe ẹgbẹ́, mo ti wà ní ẹgbẹ́ kan rí tẹ́nìkan rojọ́ pé à ń láti kọ́kọ́ ṣọ̀rẹ́ náà ká tó ṣe ẹgbẹ́ ń gbọ́, mo ti ráyè ranu. Mo ti ráyè tí yóò bọ́ sí yóò lẹ́nu ẹgbẹ́ lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. I have social network. Inú ẹgbẹ́ kan náà ti ń wọ̀ rẹ̀. Ó tún pàṣẹ fún mi pé wọ́n kọ́kọ́ ìgbọ́dọ̀ ṣọ̀rẹ́ náà ká tó ṣe ẹgbẹ́ láti nǹkan ìṣorí mi. I have my own social network. I don't go to organizations to make friends. I go there for business. Yes. If I want to be if I choose to be friendly with someone, that's a choice. The matter there, lọ́ọ̀lì etí ẹ kémi jókòó lé mi má tójú bọ́ lé mi tójú bọ́ lé ẹ kí ló ń bá kiri. Wọ́n bá lọ́ọ̀lì onílé tán, wọ́n máa bọ́ sórí fóònù, wọ́n máa gossip, wọ́n máa tójú bọ́ lé onílé kiri. My grandmother used to say, àtójú bọ́ lé onílé mọ bí ọbẹ̀ gbé dùn. Àlọ́nu ẹgbẹ́ kò lè máa lọ tójú bọ́ lé onílé jókòó lé ẹ. Yẹ kó nílé jókòó lé ẹ. Yẹ bá ń ṣe mítìnì níbi tẹ́ ti ń ṣe kí ló ń ṣe ìtẹ̀ káàkiri tẹ̀ ráyè mójútó ń tó tẹ́ torí ẹ̀ kóra yín jọ. Tọ́ bá ti ń tójú bọ́ lé ara wọn yẹn, ibi tíjà tí mo máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ìgbà tó ń lọ ilé ẹ̀ ní kan ló ṣe gbogbo rubbish tí mi ti ẹ̀bẹ̀ gbọ́. Let me go straight to Alàgbà Odede. Why am I saying this? Níjọ́ tí Ifá sọ fún mi pé àgbà kò ní tán nílẹ̀ Oòduà yìí necessary. Ó ní kí Yorùbá padà lọ sí ìgbà tí ìwà ṣẹ̀, when character descended to this world. Character is a messenger. Is a messenger. Ìwà òjíṣẹ́ ni. O lè rán níṣẹ́ dáadáa, o lè rán níṣẹ́ aburú. With character, there's a lot you can do. Àwọn Yorùbá nílẹ̀ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn ti fi ìwà, wọn ti fi da immigration rules rú. Wọ́n á parọ́ oríṣiríṣi. Ẹni tí Sàdáúnà náà ò mọ̀, àlóhùn wá refugee status. Ẹjọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run. And they believe it is right. That is the most dangerous thing. Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká láwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé léyìí ò dáa, kò dáa ni. On that note, Alàgbà Odede, before I say thank you to everybody, over to you. After you, I'll be bidding everybody goodbye. Unless, oh, by the way, Lady Clara, you wanted to say something, I will still bring you in, unless you want to opt out of it completely now. You wanted to say something about opinion poll, and I didn't allow you at that point in time.
Yes, that's right. Do you want me to say it now?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. The thing about opinion poll is to represent different views and section of the society that we want to bring together or represent. In view of some of the issues that I've mentioned about our attitude towards selection and preferential selections and and discrimination, if you like, how are we representing people that are not so much like the population that we think we are serving? People who do not necessarily meet by our Yoruba standard of who is a Yoruba person. What defines the people we're trying to get the polls from? Because that is what is going to inform our decision at the end of the day. Who is going to represent me? Based on my comment about my treatment within the Yoruba community. People don't see me as a Yoruba person. You know, why? Why not? So how am I represented in your opinion polls, in the questions in the opinion polls, in the leadership of the Odua agitation, in the leadership of the Odua movement, in the leadership of what constitute the committees who are on the committees. These are the kind of questions that I ask all the time. What makes up the committee and why? How do you choose them? Are you still using the old people that are destroying the nation? Are we still choosing people because we know them? How do we make up? Who writes these things? This is my own issue and issues of people like me about if you don't see me as Yoruba, and I'm awful Yoruba, and I don't look like you necessarily or speak like you necessarily, I don't have the marks of Ogun State or your state, how do you represent me?
So Lady Clara, it isn't that your mother is Calabar and your father is Yoruba?
No, no, I'm full flesh. Let me tell you, my great, fourth generation, over 400 years ago, is from Ife. And on one side, family side, from the king of Ife. And on the mother's side, from the father's side, from the mother's side, from the king of Ife. From the mother's side, from Elisha. So you can't be any more Yoruba than I am. And my Soguro family are the people who stands up for the kings of kings. In the time when we used to fight wars for the Koso and during the historical movement of Yoruba, I cannot be any more Yoruba than any one of you. But the education of the Englishman has created the situation for all of us that has twisted some of our tongues. And education abroad, and the fact that some of us are not open in the market of the Yoruba group, because sometimes penetration of the Yoruba group can be very difficult because they don't see you seeming to be like them. They don't welcome you. So I have this issue.
Lady Clara, you have actually raised a very important point. I remember going to Malaysia and I came across Malaysian looking young men with little children. And they're Yoruba. Their father from Ibadan, one from Malaysia. He can't hear Sobadan see me and permit me to say, I suppose at the top of the rank and file like you, of course, Ashiwaju Bola Ahmed. Every day they say he's not a Lagosian, he's a Ragwiji, it is not a Ragwiji, he's not a Yoruba, this and all that. You're perfectly right. Let me go straight on to Alagbodede. Over to you.
Yes, ma'am. I will just make a summary of what we have been doing. It's very unfortunate that we have to be addressing these issues now. You see, the question of experience. One can have a right experience and one can have a wrong experience. And you cannot generalize by a particular experience. You can only generalize what you do and then try to expand it to the rest. So if we say there is a conflict in organizations and this and that, like I said, that's nothing new. What is important is when you say you are pursuing a particular course, it's like a bus, like an elder used to tell us, that you put down a bus Those who will enter the bus will enter the bus. Those who will not enter the bus will not enter the bus. But the bus can still go on according to history. When they started the action group in 1951, they started the meetings in Owo. And I think at the 7th meeting, Awolowo wanted to give up. It was Pa Jasin that said, let us have one more meeting before we call it quits. It was that last meeting that established the foundation for the action group. That is one. Two, don't also forget that we are operating within a Nigerian system. There used to be a saying, Babangida wà ní power, low sustains the corrupt enterprise. Débi tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ new breed, new breed, àti gbogbo kíní ẹ̀, so everything just started crashing down. So we are operating within a system that has disturbed and destroyed the values. So if you as a Yoruba person that is interested, that knows why you want to free, why you think the Yoruba should be free, all you need to do is to be consistent in what you are doing. Most of us started out as young people in their 20s, in our 20s and all the rest. And the way things are going, we have not even achieved our aims and we grew old in it. The same thing happens to everybody. And you look at Israel, look at Rwanda for independence and stuff like that. There are so many groups. Koto Dipe, I want to take certain steps. To get international recognition, to declare it. So don't let us be bogged down with what people are commenting on live stream. I won't respond to Mr. Bello, but I think he did a great injustice to the question of what he called activists or this and that. It's a great injustice. As a moderator, he should have just read whatever it is he wants to read and leave his comment out of it. But by making a comment, he has already taken a position, which is okay. That even if the referendum is held today, he can vote against it. That is his right. We are not against that. But as long as we are debating issues, we should be able to understand where the other part is coming from. And that is why that's why we didn't go into details about critiquing anything. And to connect it with Lady Clara, when she said she's not recognized, that is what the referendum is to do, because you represent yourself. No, I mean, when you say vote for this or vote for against it, you represent yourself. Now, if you want to be part of any organization, the fact that an organization has a constitution does not make the organization relevant, because constitution by itself is not the issue. The issue is your commitment to the thing. And if you find yourself in an organization that you think is not committed, you can pull out. That doesn't mean you are going to form another organization. You can find any other means by which you. And when we talk about the state assemblies and all the rest, they may be anything we call them, but they are also human beings. They also suffer what we are suffering in a different sense, because they know if they don't have the support of their people, no matter how small it is, all the shenanigans that they are doing, they will not be able to do it. So they have to make themselves relevant to the people. Now, the question now is, how do we get the people to make themselves relevant to what is of their own interest? And that's why I have to thank Mr. Akinola that spoke about collaboration with other groups. Yes, the Yoruba Council of Elders, he made the contact with them, and they said they met and they tabled our proposal before their leadership, and they accepted it, and they said they were going to work with us. So once we start getting things like that, yes, there will be issues within organizations, there will be issues all over the place, but the question is, those who are ready to enter the bus will enter the bus, and the bus will move in the right direction. And we think and we know from historical experience that the right direction is the path that we have set. Those who want to come on board are free to come on board, Those who want to oppose it can also oppose it. We won't even bother with them. All we want is people that will come on board and have the driver to drive the bus. And the driver is in the quest for freedom, for self-determination. And there's no way anywhere in the world where the quest for self-determination or independence or anything is carried out outside the question of legitimacy. There's nowhere. Even if you want to start fighting a war, you still have to legitimize the war. It is a fundamental issue. And I thank God that what we are doing, I am a Christian and I know, I pray about it and we pray about it. In fact, there's a group that I used to belong to. It's a constant thing that they do. So all these things are not abstractions. They are, if some of us are part of the whole political shenanigans, we won't be where I mentioned Genga Daniel the other time. We were sitting together before in Aladokina. When he went to the PDP, we just bade him bye-bye. He became governor and all the rest, and that's his own problem. But what we are saying was that for 20 years or more than 20 years, the program that we established, we thank God that we are still able, is still relevant today. And there are still quite a few of us that are still pursuing it without being corrupted. And we are relating with even corrupt politicians, but we are not corrupted and we will not be corrupted.
Well,
because
on that,
God
you've said the most important thing. Be solid, know who you are. You know, let me first of all start off by apologizing if anybody's found this session very painful. I invited you to come and turn your pains to wisdom. And let me first thank Alagba Muyiwa Idowu. Thank you so much for the opening remarks. You started us off focused on why we have gathered today. Ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ fún òmìnira, collaboration for freedom. Thank you very much. Let me also go to Dr. Oni Bashegun Alabe Shekele ni mo máa ń pè wọ́n o, Bashegun Jebu-Jesha, who took time out of his extremely busy daily life to focus on a need to facilitate solution in the way he deems it best. Petition, opinion poll. That's the point I want to make. We all come to this world with a purpose. We are all individuals. Our individuality must be allowed. That's what has happened today. I want to thank him, although I did before he left. He brought his individuality. He sat down, he thought about petition, he researched it, and I came across him, and he has come to work in a setting to facilitate collaboration. Second visit today, thank you very much. I want to also thank, first of all, Alagba Femi Odede. He's a very busy man because of when I try to catch him, he's busy doing one thing or another. Thank you for what you've done for many, many years. It's not easy for those who've been working constructively in potentially soul-destroying environment. Soul-destroying environment, most of these organizations are. Because as you said, let me go straight to 3rd of January when we dedicated this year to collaboration. Well, first of all, we dedicated it to Yoruba freedom. And the first session, it came out, collaboration would be a way forward. Now, that session, there was nothing that happened there other than Professor Akintoye started with pains, expressing his pains. The ingratitude he came across. Because jẹ́jẹ́ ni bàbá Akíntóyè jókòó tán lọ pé wọ́n sórí ṣíà. They went to collect him where he was because his profile was used, and they plucked him on a seat of an organization he was, if there wasn't, he wasn't part of. And he encountered a lot of pains. And everybody involved in that organization, they all felt pains. So, and the whole thing scattered. My bringing us together today again was to say, okay, maybe it's happening because people don't have experiences to be able to avoid all of that. But it's transparent that it's always been the case. Granny mi ló máa ń sọ pé ńjọ́ tí ẹ bá mú irọ́ tẹ́ ẹ sọ sínú gbó tẹ́ ẹ gbó títọ́ jáde èmi ọmọ eégún lọ́jẹ̀ èmi ọmọ àgbà ọ̀jẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ sọ ẹ̀kú eégún tẹ́ ẹ jù sẹ́yìn tẹ́ ẹ ṣí aṣọ lójú eégún ìjọ yẹn lè máa rọ́nà lọ. Yorùbá máa ń bo nǹkan mọ́lẹ̀ jù. Ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tán bí fún ọkọ wọn máa bò mọ́lẹ̀. Ìṣe kan jáde síta kan ní òun kọ́ ló lọ mọ́ kí ló máa ṣe fún yín. Kókó ọ̀rọ̀ mi ni wípé if we are going to really reconnect back to the glorious days before Chief Obafemi Awolowo, if I dare say so, we have to return the truth to our midst. The truth, we have to return fearlessness to our midst. Having said that, people will say, Akintola versus Awolowo ńkọ́, ǹjẹ́ aró òótọ́ tó tú wọn ká dé ní? Kì í ṣe kó tú wọn ká for 2 minutes. Ó tú wọn ká tẹbítẹbí ni. I don't, God knows how many years ago. Certainly, it's over 60 years ago. Tán tú ká. Tán rojú tú ẹ̀. A lè máa sọ wípé it is not new. Please look at where you are in United States. Look at where you are in United Kingdom. Nínú Conservative Party, àti gbára wa lẹ́sẹ̀. Boris Johnson to ṣe Brexit. Everybody is talking to each other. Everybody is talking to each other. Yoruba, one daughter. Let's put it this way. Many people, àwọn tí Tajudeen Abdulrahman tó ṣe wàhálà Káyọ̀dé Fáyẹmí tó jẹ́ gọ́vnà lẹ́nìí, àwọn tó bá Káyọ̀dé Fáyẹmí rìn, wọ́n sọ wípé táwọn bá pé kò ní dáhùn lóhùn mọ́, ó ti dọ̀gá. Kò sí gbogbo ìṣàlẹ́jọ́ wa tẹ́jọ́ ń ṣe kúrúkárà. May the soul of Tajudeen Abdulrahman, who was part and parcel of Pan-African movement, they worked hard. So let's say we need to appreciate ourselves. We need to understand that when we are on level 1 and we get up to level 10, yes, we must never forget where we started from. Experiences that we encounter by working together, those experiences can make us or they can damage us so seriously beyond belief. Mo ti rí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé mo lè sọ wípé ogun àfibíṣólóore ló ń jà wọ́n. Mo lè prove ẹ̀ pé àfibíṣólóore gbogbo ẹni tó máa ti fi sí important position máa ń fi ibi ṣú ni. Yorùbá don't know how to say thank you. They don't know how to say thank you. Kò síjọ́ tí n bá ṣe ìyàwó kẹ́ tó máa mú dọ́là pé pínpín kan sórí mi kí n tó mọ̀ pé ṣe thank you. So please let us stop this with greatest respect. These lies that it's happening everywhere. Our behavior needs to be changed. Definitely needs to change. See about change the behavior. I've cited the current ones. Me, multi-tell the current one. Once they start an organization, one to register in the company house. Yeah, number one. Number two, those in diaspora, a recent occurrence, I want to 7.2 million job. All our currencies are to 1st of October. That's another craze. Ogun. Just how to run it. Hello, me. To my Lord, no one so fìbọn fọ́ orí ẹ̀ tó máa fọ́ dànù. Tó ti ń parọ́ ogun tó ń test. Tábàtìrẹ́lẹ̀ olóògùn. Olóògùn. Ogun wà. Ayẹta wà. Ayẹpọ̀ wà. Ẹyẹ kìnnìkan wà. Nkankan. Ayẹta wà. Buhari wà bí tó wà. Ẹyẹta bí tó wà lọ́hùn. Kó bọ́ọ̀lẹ̀. Lọ́tọ̀ tí ń yẹta.
Ìwà àánú ọmọ ló ń jẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ jòkí gbẹ́ náà.
Kílẹ̀ ẹ ti ẹ̀ mú ayẹta kẹ́bi bọ́ǹdù rẹ̀ kúrò lórí ṣíà. Kàlàlàáfíà. That is the latest craze. Ogun. Please. That is the kò sí ìyẹn ní sẹ́ẹ̀tì tí yín. Ṣùgbọ́n kọ́nà lẹ fi sí gbà sẹ́ẹ̀tì yín gbogbo OPC náà lọ ń ṣoògùn káàkiri tó fi ń para wọn náà fi jẹ́ náà fi mọ̀. Gbogbo oògùn tó jẹ́ ti ṣe yẹn wọ́n ti tú sínú social media sì tá ń gbọ́. So I'm so sorry. Let us turn our wounds to wisdom. I want to thank every one of you who have joined me today. The gathering of today is to look at old experiences. The gathering of today is to see if we can learn lessons from the bad behavior. The gathering of today is to relate what happened in the past to what is happening today, in order for us to be able to once and for all have collaboration, healthy collaboration. And as I said, we don't have to be friends. Committee Yoruba referendum. Let's face, I want to borrow that from Alagbodede. If we are there for referendum, let's face the referendum. You don't need to. Once we are there, let's greet each other. Respectful. Whether you're a secretary, you are this, I'm not interested. Just let's respect each other. We are there for referendum. If we are there for referendum, any tom komo makwe misi komo you need it. Don't say let's face referendum. So on that note, I want to sincerely apologize to anybody who has felt pain, who may have felt insulted, who may have felt it's been too raw and too cold. And I don't want us to forget that Lady Clara said people will look at her and they don't believe she's Yoruba. That's why I asked her, maybe she's Calabar. Yeah, because the only people I know in Lagos, and I think she may not know this, even when we started that Lagos, we had this problem. Who is Lagos? So, Lady Clara, please come for. I know you've always been with Lagos State. Come closer now to the core Yoruba people, because that's the only way we can reclaim. You can reclaim your Lagos properly from those who want to hijack it.
I'm all yours. I'm all yours.
We'll see our fool.
Thank you.
So, you and I still have business to sort out. No problem. Ohun tẹ́ fílẹ̀ fún wa lẹ́nu ó ṣe pàtàkì ní wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan gbà pé láti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ bí ò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ọjà òkùnkùn ni òmìnira ta fẹ́ gbà yìí tí wọ́n bá ní ká gba igbá kan gba ọ̀nà ọbẹ̀ yẹn á láti gbàbẹ̀ petition á gbàbẹ̀ Tọ́ba ní ká lọ sí House of Assembly, àdórí kọbẹ̀. Tọ́ba ní ká dórí títí tọ́lọ̀ máa fi ṣe kíni, tá máa fi túra wa sílẹ̀. Olódùmarè á fún wa ṣe. Torí pé ọ̀nà kan kò wọ́jà o. Àwọn ìwádìí there are many ways to skin the cat. So all we want is let's find collaboration. Let's ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kó wà. Ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ lórí kíni. Alagbodede, you said it. The main problem you said is because most people didn't have focused agenda. So if you join any organization, be focused. Be focused. Olodumare Afunwase, I want to thank you for joining me today. Those of you who are out there, Liberty Media Communications, nice one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I know you do put a lot of energy in preparing to ensure that those who are out there viewing us are able to get a good idea of what this is all about and how to make good use of the outcome. Alagbataiwo Akinola, you and I still have business. Gbogbo àwọn tó wà nínú parapara tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ máa bá mi wá wọn jáde. Dídán lẹ máa wá wọn jáde. Ọlọ́run bá mi fún yín ṣe. Alàgbà Joseph Oladoshu, thank you for joining us. Sister Florence, thank you very much indeed. Mauritania, Aziz Olaide, my regards to all our people in Mauritania. The newer people.
Yes, ma'am.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ìbá rántí, wọ́n ní gíga ó là ń bọ́jọ́ ní agbára Olódùmarè. Gbogbo àdáwọ́lé yín ire ni.
Àmín.
Àti lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ kó ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Àṣẹ. Tọ́ba ní ta ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o. It's me, Erelu Tunwase. I want to thank you all for joining me, and I wish you all the very best in all your encounter as you continue to collaborate within your family, outside your family, and wherever you can. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Thank you very much indeed. All the best.